Poisonrana.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana Live. You found us in whatever podcast app you're choosing to use. And it's Sunday, November 30th, 2 p.m., which means
we are live on youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod. Hello, YouTube room. How are we doing?
Yes, hello, everybody. Hello, all the friends. Hello, all the frogs. Today, we're going to war. We're going to be talking about some war games. The war is over. Is that a Christmas song? I think so.
John Lennon, Yoko Ono, yes.
Yeah, that's right. The war is over, and we're going to talk all about it. John Cena's last PLE, plus trash cans, masked men, anything else they can milk.
So what do we call Saturday night's main event? Because it's not on TV.
It's
not premium. It's just a live event. Just Cena going out on a televised house show.
They love to just milk that like, oh, it's his last PLE. Okay, then what's his last match? Oh, this was his last Raw match. And it's like, oh, my God. Just, okay. I just kind of want it to end now at this point. I want it to be over because then it's like, what else you got, essentially. But we're going to talk all about war games. But hello, everybody. Appreciate you listening. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. We are Poisonrana. We do this every Sunday. The next few weeks are going to be crazy with some wrestling. I believe next Sunday we're going to be live. We're not going live Saturday after deadline, but we will be live Sunday for our normal time slot to talk all about NXT deadline, the Iron Survivors, and everything else going on. But then what? The week after that is the John Cena match?
Yep, then it's the Cena match after that.
So there you go. Two big Sundays coming up, including today. So 3 in a row. And then after that, what is there? Christmas, World's End, whatever, everything.
I mean, the week after that, you got the boxing on Netflix.
Wait, which boxing?
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua.
Oh, no, that's not real boxing.
And then the week after that, you got World's End.
Wow.
And then the week after that, I don't know.
We're going to end our
New Year's Evil. I don't know.
Wrestling. Yeah, there is New Year's Evil, but that'll be on a Tuesday, I think. So, but yeah, the wrestling never stops. More is more. And, well, hey, maybe you watch it all like us. Maybe you don't and you catch up through us, but we're welcome to have you here listening and supporting us. Thank you. Appreciate. How you doing? You didn't watch last night. You were at work.
I did actually. Yeah, it was quite funny because we unfortunately, like stuff going on at work, plus us being away last week with going to New York, it made it a bit difficult to organize Survivor Series this year. And I think both of us have been a little down on WWE as well. So, it takes a lot of work and we got to be kind of passionate about it. So we didn't do an event for Survivor Series. However, a few people did show up at the bar last night. So we had the Leafs on with the sound. So I was like, hey, I can put it on this TV for you. And then, so the first match, the women's match, we didn't have sound. And then when it came to Cena's match, I'm like, man, I kind of feel like we should put the sound on.
His last PLE match ever. How could we?
His last ever time on ESPN. So I paused it because we were about 5 minutes away from the end of the second period for the Leafs.
Right.
Like, hey, do you want me to just pause this? And then when it's the break in the hockey game, we'll throw on the Cena match. And everyone was like, yeah, sure. So we did that. We put on Cena's match. I've got people at the bar like asking, whoa, what is this? This is his last match. And I was like, second last match. And they're going, well, he's got to win, right? He's got to beat this guy. And
right, wrong.
Yeah. So a lot of people and the same old, people making fun of it. This fake shit. And then you realize they're not taking their eyes off the screen. And then the manager just came over and was like, just keep the sound on for the rest of the show. So we had quite a little audience, but not necessarily all wrestling fans. But
you had the normal anti-wrestling crowd at a bar being like, what is this? John Cena? Who's this guy? What is this mustache? And then Liv Morgan comes out, they're like, well, you know what? Wait, let him cook. Hold on. Let's let the show go on.
Or, like going like criticizing wrestling and then dropping their knowledge of 80s, 90s wrestling and all that. But I had one guy actually at the bar who's an actor working on the prequel of the for The Boys, and showed like a picture to me of himself with Dwayne The Rock Johnson on Walking Tall, because he was in that movie.
Wow.
And was saying about how The Rock was such a nice guy and used to prank people by he had this little like fart squeezy thing, so would go next to 5 people squeezing it. So he bought him like a remote controlled fart box, so he'd put it on the producer's chair and then walk away, and he's giving notes and would let off a fart. So but yeah, like the bar got into it, so I ended up getting to watch it last night, and it was only really the women's match that I didn't get to kind of fully focus on, but I've watched bits of that this morning as well, so it was nice. Didn't have to wake up at the crack of bastard this morning to
I mean, you know what? All of our friends, talking to people who are wrestling fans, not just like, some listeners, especially last week, but talking to just friends and the normal wrestling fans as we know it. And I think at least 10 plus people in our local friend group have got the way to watch WWE down. You don't watch it live.
No.
Because that takes 5 hours, like an AEW pay-per-view, without the actual, wrestling.
Yeah.
However, when you watch it the next day, it takes like 2 hours.
It's a breeze.
It's like nothing.
I mean,
like, I can skip all this bullshit commercials. Nice. And then I'm done with it.
Yeah, I mean, because we started the show about 10 minutes late, and then we paused it for maybe like 15 minutes. So we were just going match to match. And with 4 matches, like the contrast from a week ago in Jersey, watching the AEW show, to this, just 4 matches. Yeah, it was a pretty easy watch, I'd say.
I mean, this one is different. Survivor Series is the War Games thing, which I think is tiring, and we're going to get into it. But like having 2 big matches, and then 2, like this was only 4 matches on a show, whereas we just went to a show which had like 14 matches. And I don't know how you could sit and watch these WWE pay-per-views with all of these. The whole thing just feels like an ad. I don't feel like I'm watching a wrestling show. I feel like I'm watching one big advertisement.
Yeah.
When I watch,
like if you're there at the stadium, you've got to go for a walk, right? Between these matches, just stretch your legs. Like watching at home, you can cook dinner, do your laundry, do a bit of cleaning, like do your tax return. Like
it's
you
great
can do
when it's
so
the next
much
day.
in between each.
Like you skip through, just the consensus was a lot of fans is like, oh, I don't want to watch it unless you're doing stuff with the boys and like a party or whatever and watching with people. Like it's so hard because it's so many advertisements. Just today, watching right before recording, just finished, and it's like, okay, I can skip. Even on the Netflix feed here in Canada, it like still has the ads, but I'm like, I can skip them. So I'm like skipping through this thing, and more than half, like I'm sure there's some nerds out there on Twitter or whatever who do the actual time of wrestling on these shows compared to the time of not, and it's crazy. So like my critique of wrestling in the last like 2 years is AEW pay-per-views, too much wrestling. Is that so crazy to say? Don't quote me on it, but like, wow, too much wrestling. WWE shows, not enough wrestling. So there needs to be a medium there of like, wow, AEW doesn't give you a second to breathe, to even go get that cup of coffee, to go stretch your legs, play a promo, play something. They just go. You're going to get your money's worth. It's a lot of wrestling. It can tire you out. Whereas WWE, you sit there you sit on your hands for like commercial after commercial. And then we got to plug Sony, and then we got to plug this movie. And then, oh my God, it's crazy. So yeah.
There's a happy medium somewhere, isn't there?
There's gotta be.
Between 2. Like
there's gotta be.
8 matches over 3.5 hours. Like maybe that's it.
Perfect.
7, something like that.
Chef's kiss. Wonderful. Yeah. We like, it is night and day of like watching like all this, like throwing it like, here, we got to fit this in. Excalibur running down things 10 million miles an hour. We got to fit all this stuff in the time allotted. They give us 3.5, but we got to make sure we get 5.5 hours of content. It's like, holy shit. Okay. When can I go to the break? Well, this match is important. I've been waiting for this match. Okay. Well, when can I like, WWE's like, don't worry. The next match is in an hour. You got time. You got time to do whatever you want. And then that match is going to go 14 minutes maybe. And then you got another hour before that shit pops off. But yeah, watching on the next day is a revelation of WWE programming for sure. I mean, wow, the ads alone in this thing is crazy. So, yeah, these new Netflix movies look good though.
Do they?
No, not really.
I skipped through them. I don't know.
I didn't watch them. There's this one about an old guy. I don't know, something like that. But I'm sure there was a Stranger Thing. When are we going to get the Stranger Things kids? When's Vecna showing up on Raw? Is that going to happen soon? We got to get that crossover.
Mr. Watson?
Yeah, he'll just show up, start talking to little Jimmy.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah. Anyways, so we will jump in. We're going to go through War Games. We're going to go through some AEW. And then if there's time, maybe we can talk about Bret Hart's comments.
Yes.
Because that sounds like fun. But we will be live this Tuesday as well on Post Wrestling, as we will be talking about some NXT and the go home for it deadline. I mentioned next Saturday is NXT deadline. We will be live the following Sunday, a week from today, 2 p.m. to talk all about it. So join us then. But we have lots of shows, our preview for deadline, and then we'll be live the next few Sundays, like I said. But we have so many other shows. If you haven't checked out, we are two independent podcasters. Go to patreon.com/Poisonrana. $5 to become a friend, a whole month's access to hundreds of different pods that we have done, including different movie reviews. We've recently reviewed Psycho during Halloween. We did so many different scary movies. We have done James Bond, GoldenEye 30th anniversary, just like a week or so ago. We talked about the video game, No Odd Job, plus one of our favorite James Bond movies of all time, and the 90s nostalgia kicks in for sure on this review. That was a ton of fun. Plus, we do tons of wrestling. We do a show called Was Next. We review old NXT. We also look back at old pay-per-views, and yes, the Vaudevillains, who look a lot like Pac. Does anyone think I'm going to say his name. Sorry. Simon Gotch, like Pac new gear on Dynamite reminds me of.
Oh, the gear, maybe.
Yeah, like it's the old timey. I don't know. Is it me? Okay. But yeah, we've done a ton of different podcasts. We just had our boy Jesse from the Six to join us for a retro WCW Fall Brawl War Games match. Now, this features the Shockmaster.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
You may all remember the debut of the Shockmaster, but what about the reason why the Shockmaster showed up in the first place? It was to wrestle in a War Games match. And Davie, I know you loved this pay-per-view.
Oh boy, this when the best match on the card is a William Regal match, you know you're not in for a great time. But bad shows often make good reviews. I think we had a great chat with Jesse from the Six on this show. We had a lot of fun, a lot to make fun of. But yeah, definitely on the weaker side of WCW pay-per-views, which is saying something.
Like the early 90s in wrestling just sucked. They must have. Like the boom of the 80s was done, and then it would take a while to get the Attitude Era and everything cooking. But yeah, wow. WCW Fall Brawl 93 featuring Sabretooth, Big Sky, the guy who plays Sabretooth. We talk a lot about him. We didn't know he was from Saskatchewan. That's funny. We talked about Mick Foley having he had amnesia, but then it was all a ruse.
Faked amnesia. Vader. Yeah,
that was probably the best part of the show.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
Jesse is super knowledgeable about WCW. He's been going back and rewatching everything, so we were itching to have him on the show. So we'll definitely have him on for another WCW review.
And a talk that I'm sure once we get into the Continental Classic, we're going to talk about confusion of title belts, and we have a talk about this on WCW Fall Brawl 93 when we're talking about the WCW International World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, I think you and Jesse broke my brain discussing the WCW International. Think 1993, Rick Rude, Ric Flair. And then only for us to finish this review, sit down at your place and watch Dynamite for AEW to try to explain to me the Continental Classic and the International Championship. What title is it? The Continental.
The Continental.
Don't get me started. So yeah, pretty funny that kind of ties in there. But tons of fun shows on our Patreon. If you haven't checked it out already, what are you waiting for? $5. Buy us a coffee, buy us a beer, and get your month supply of all the podcasts that we do. It connects to whatever podcast app you use. And yeah, it's how we keep the lights on here and keep going. We got some some other shows lined up in the near future. I know John Cena is retiring soon. We have been doing a show called The Champ Is Here, and we have dropped episode 13, The Rock John Cena feud. And I guess the next one, we carry on. We go to the next.
We'll be talking about salmon suits, fake retirements, and the Ryback in the
Ryback,
which will be that's what Daniel Bryan always called him, the Ryback.
The Ryback.
This is like a weird one. It's kind of Champ Is Here, episode 13B. Normally we talk about the actual title reign. However, Rock Cena was such a big feud, we had to dedicate a whole episode to that. So we'll be talking about the 13th reign as WWE champion / world champion. So we'll be getting into that the week of Cena's last match, and I think we're going to drop maybe a couple of our previous shows for free for you guys to celebrate the career of John Cena.
Yeah, I think maybe this upcoming Monday or Tuesday, I'll put one up. I'll decide on something and get you guys out there if you haven't checked them out already, because I appreciate the love we've been getting for this show. It's a lot of John Cena we're watching, but it's fitting with this whole retirement tour and everything. So appreciate the love. Check us out if you haven't already. But again, appreciate you here listening.
Also, I want to say, Sean Calhoun, if you're listening, get back to us. We'd like to do your Up Yours pick.
That's right.
Sean's picked Ready Player One, which actually a book I read earlier this year. I'm quite excited to do this review. But yeah, he's next in the lineup of our world champs, our family members, to do a show for Up Yours, and we'd like to do that this week. But if you don't get back to us, we'll move on to someone else. So if you are a family member patron and you want to get a review in, hit us up, and we'll hopefully slot you in very soon.
Oh, also, and if your name is John Pollock, get back to us too for Home Alone 3.
Yeah. I feel like we were promised something a year ago, and that promise is sounding a little flaky now.
Always get it in writing. Get it in writing.
Yeah.
Home Alone 3 review coming one day.
Yeah.
But patreon.com/Poisonrana. Appreciate all the listeners out there. And appreciate any of the Toronto area friends. I know we mentioned we didn't do a War Games hangout, and if you're listening, we will be doing a Royal Rumble party in the near future. So again, follow the space for information on that, because obviously that's a no-brainer down the line. But we do have friends in Toronto with other wrestling events, and I got to shout out our friends Demand Lucha, who are doing 2 shows in December. On December 17th, they're doing a show in Oshawa, the Dirty Schwa, getting lucha for Christmas. And then the Thursday, December 18th in Parkdale Hall in Toronto. We always have a riot at these shows. So shout out our friends at Demand Lucha, because they're so much fun. And I know the normal cast of characters will be there, including Gringo, and I think the Beast Mortos is going to be there, which is going to be absolutely mental. So,
is he going to be wearing a little Santa hat?
I hope so.
I hope so.
Who knows? Maybe he brings Mrs. Claus.
That'd be nice.
Right?
Like she could win the
Demand
Lucha Championship, maybe.
Also, maybe if you need like legal advice, he might be someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah.
I don't think he can practice in Ontario, though, can he? I mean, he can give advice, but can't necessarily represent you.
Where does he practice? Like, does he? Spain, the running of the bulls.
Yeah, where the wild things are, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Arena Mexico. That's the only place he can do law. This is down there. I don't know. He posted some mad drip lately. He was wearing his mask with like I don't know. He's pretty gangster. I love Beast Mortos, so he will be in Toronto at Demand Lucha. Very excited about that. But yeah, fun stuff. Support your local independent wrestling, and it's the holidays, so get yourself the gift and go see some wrestling, or
absolutely
buy some of our podcasts or something. But
yeah,
anyways, shall we talk about some Survivor Series?
Yeah, let's do it.
Happy late Thanksgiving, American friends out there. We wasn't it weird being in New York like the week before Thanksgiving, the week of, where we would go to different bars and you just see people like, happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, see you like next year.
Yeah, you'd see people like even at Full Gear at the Prudential Center. Like I heard, certain staff, security, and AEW staff and things being like, "Oh, we'll have a great holiday, guys. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Happy Thanksgiving." Yeah. Like, I'm just a Canadian. We did that already. But
I did do turkey on Thursday. Myself and Graham did a little Thanksgiving dinner, which was
very nice,
which was pretty yummy. we still got the pumpkin pie. We kind of ate too much, so I think we're having the pumpkin pie today.
I love a good Thanksgiving dinner with the fixins. Everything about that. So happy late Thanksgiving. We saw them set up. We always leave on these Full Gear weekends when they're setting up the Macy Day Parade.
Yeah, we're always like, can you just turn the tree on for us? Just 5 minutes.
So apparently the tree isn't even lit yet. The tree gets lit this week. So imagine we stayed. We wouldn't even watch the. So it was still locked when I went.
This time last year, I was back in London. I just had like my Facebook reminder of just a picture of a proper ale and fish and chips in a pub. But yeah, last year I went for 3 days for Full Gear, and then went to London, and then came back for a night, and that was when all the Christmas stuff was up. So we've got to see it last year.
Crazy,
awesome.
Like last year, I went to New York twice, one in the same time for Full Gear and one in the summer with my mom, my girlfriend. And it's New York. It's always busy. But this time around, just last week, walking on Sunday, literally a week, I guess, from today, around this time, I was walking around like Manhattan, and it was insanity. The Christmas markets, Rockefeller, I've never seen it as crazy as that in my life. And I've been to New York like over 10 times. I was like, whoa, this is like the FAO Schwartz. You know, I love to do the big piano. The line was wrapped around the street to go into any stores, Lego stores. So to anyone who's listening, who work retail, all the power to you. Hope your holidays go smoothly and well. And you're going to get out of this okay. Everything's going to be all right. To our retailers, to our delivery people, whoever it is, you're going to be all right, and we support you.
Yeah.
You know, we watch this. It's always
stay safe out there.
We always, you know, of course we love our troops. Americans love to say WWE loves our troops and everything, but sometimes it's the other people we gotta support. The people who deliver your food or deliver whatever. It's gonna get crazy in these streets, so be safe. All right.
Bear in mind when you're yelling at the shop clerk for them not having your item in store for your Christmas present or whatever, that person probably ain't even having a Christmas. So think about it. Think about it. Yes.
Right. Be nice to each other. Happy Thanksgiving. Be thankful that we on this earth. All right. There you go. Welcome to our TED Talk. Now let's talk about stupid wrestling.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about some War Games. 2025 Survivor Series from San Diego. The City of Angels? No, wait. Is that Anchorman? Oh, San Diego?
San Diego. No, you're thinking LA. Yeah.
No, wait. In Anchorman, isn't he live in San Diego?
I can't remember.
San Diego? Yeah. Whale's vagina? Something like that.
Yeah, I thought the stadium looked awesome for this. I think they did this baseball stadium a little nicer than they've done previous ones. I thought it looked cool with the, you know, sometimes because they've got so many people, they don't quite do the pyro as much as they used to. But I thought it looked awesome, and especially with the sun setting for Cena's match, like as his career is reaching its sunset. I thought it looked really cool in San Diego, this park, and first time we've seen the two rings and the cages in a stadium setting. I thought it looked great.
It looked really beautiful. I guess this was way earlier in the day, being the West Coast time, right? So that's like in the mid-afternoon. It was still sunny. There's a lot of people there. It was like, what, 40,000?
Yeah, it sold 45, I think, around that. It sold really well. And I think in the last week shifted another 10,000, which for me, I got to put that on Cena, right? Like you got to think, as star-studded as that men's War Games is, I think people are realizing, oh shit, like Cena's like got 2 matches left. And I guess if you're able to get to San Diego, and maybe it being a stadium and, you know, a lot of tickets still being left, maybe these ticket prices dropped a little. I don't know. I wasn't monitoring it, but yeah, like a big increase in that last week of ticket sales for this.
It looked packed. It looked awesome with the two rings, like you said, the cages and everything. But
that powder bomb pyro they used at the beginning, I thought looked pretty cool.
It looked like a huge success. I mean,
biggest Survivor Series ever.
Yeah. Like breaking records, making a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Still can't put on a good show, but all the lipstick in the world, still a pig. Yeah, I thought it looked awesome, to be honest. And I was even more shocked to hear that Petco Park was the name of this. I don't watch enough Padres games, but Petco Park is an awesome stadium name there. But yeah, where do we start with the women's war
start in
game
order?
match?
Yeah, let's start with the women.
I got to shout out Charlotte Flair, who came out wearing this gear. And have you heard the story? They talked about it on the commentary before, but shout out to the 7-year-old Scarlett, who helped inspire this gear.
Yeah, she designed this gear, and Charlotte on her entrance went over to her and gave her a little hug and stuff. I thought was very sweet.
Yeah.
It hit me in the feels for sure.
Yeah, so like a 7-year-old going through some really serious, stuff, brain tumor and everything, but big cool thing from Charlotte here with that, and then saying hi to her during the entrance there. But I thought a lot of the gear looked cool here, including the Kabuki Warriors, always looking good. Becky, I know she's not big time Bex, but her gear always looking good. But then Rhea Ripley with I know Halloween is over by a month, but I guess tonight the Stars were getting their Halloween gear delivered on delay, because we'll get into CM Punk a little bit later. But Rhea Ripley coming out dressed as Art the Clown, the Terrifier, with this face mask. So
I found it funny. I listened to a little bit of John and Way, and Art the Clown from Terrifier. Never heard of this movie. Who has? No one knows what this movie is. I'm like, it's pretty huge and a pretty iconic character now at this point.
So you're saying the two guys that we know who have little kids at home aren't watching Terrifier?
Two dads who don't have time to do a Home Alone review with us haven't seen Terrifier.
On top of that, okay, I just watched Terrifier, but I have heard about it for the last few years.
Yeah,
it's blown up. On top of that, John and Way, Rhea Ripley has done a Terrifier merch drop combo with WWE and Terrifier, and it's apparently sold extremely well in stores across North America. But I've only watched 1 and 2, and they're completely fucked up. And I understand people not watching or wanting to watch this, because they're very violent, very gross, but
very Rob Zombie-esque, aren't they? Or Hostel, Saw, that kind of even.
But also Rhea Ripley's been dressing up like him.
Oh, yeah.
She's dressed up and made shout outs to him. We had the Halloween Havoc, the ring announcer, Mike Rome, dressed up as Terrifier as well. There's been lots of wrestling.
I believe she's been promised a role in the what would it be, Terrifier 4?
Nice. With Chris Jericho. Is he going to be in that one again? He's in what, the other ones? Right? There's already a wrestling connection in them. So
yeah, Jericho. Yeah.
But now the movie is getting bigger. They were kind of lower budget horror movies that you can watch on Tubi, whereas now they're getting pretty popular. So I would imagine she showed up at a concert and Art the Clown chainsawed her or something. So she's been doing stuff with them, but I thought this looked really cool with the face mask thing. But then it's kind of Michael Cole, who's clearly our friends John and Way in the situation, who's Art the Clown, cool. And Wade Barrett's yeah, that's cool, but look, she's carrying the trash can, the trash bag, and if you've watched Terrifier, you might want to be a little worried about what's in the trash bag there. And I thought that was pretty funny from Wade Barrett picking it up. But yeah, she looked awesome. She looked great.
Yeah. What did we think of the match? So we had AJ Lee picking up the win over Becky. I think we predicted this on our Tuesday show, on our predictions. Makes sense, continuing that feud. I kind of didn't like how this story was originally. It was Asuka v Io, right? That was the story that built this whole War Games thing. A majority of the team is based on that, and it kind of shifted over to the Becky AJ thing. But yeah, I found this maybe the weakest women's War Games match we've had in WWE. It felt to me the cage didn't really need to be there. This could have just been a match. And we've said before that the battle that WWE faces is, there's handcuffs. They're restricted with what they can do in these matches. So we often just see trash can, kendo stick.
It's always that
kind of thing.
Trash can, kendo stick.
Apart from, a colorful chain and names written on some of the weapons for this one, it was essentially that. It felt very tame, I thought, for a War Games, and didn't necessarily think it sometimes these matches are used like you see in the Rumble as well, or the old traditional Survivor Series, ways to build other little feuds in it. I didn't even think that was particularly great. And the spot of the match was one we've seen many times before with Io with the dive, which is always spectacular.
But this one was okay. I did not really enjoy this match. Okay, like the men's, there was a lot of star power in this match. When you look at the WWE women's roster, you had Becky, Charlotte, the Kabuki Warriors, Io, Rhea. Like, this is pretty packed. Oh, and Nia, of course. Who could forget? But like, it's pretty packed, and there was a lot of stuff going on, but there really wasn't. It was very similar to the last War Games matches. I thought both of the War Games matches on tonight's show were just the most play it safe. And I say that, you said, the only one spot that genuinely, you know, had my jaw on the floor, perhaps the entire show, was Io Sky. Now, of course, she's done the trash can spot, but this time she did a full like swanton, doing the splits in midair as you have the photo up. Like, epic photo.
Yeah.
They barely caught her. She landed on her feet. I hope her ankles are okay. That is how Jeff Hardy has always hurt himself doing those things. But that was incredible. The rest of the match really wasn't a whole lot. It was a lot of walking around, the same kind of stuff. Like, outside of that spot, I thought this was pretty weak. I think the end, it was pretty funny, maybe, with the Becky stuff tapping out to AJ Lee. I guess eventually we got to go towards that matchup. I don't know if you necessarily stretch that out all the way till WrestleMania, but Becky AJ one-on-one is a big match, I think, for WWE. But I don't know. This match, I think you said, if you were to rank against the other women's War Games matches, it didn't do a whole lot. I would probably put it at the lower tier on that list, because I other than the Io spot, there was a whole lot of nothing in this.
I mean, they're building to AJ Becky for sure, but I still think after watching this, AJ is a bit unproven. She was really protected in this match. She didn't do a whole lot apart from really the finish. And similarly, like, she had some moments in that tag, but we haven't seen her in a one-on-one yet. And I am curious how she fares with that. I thought pretty bland, pretty safe, and especially coming off of Blood and Guts just 10 days ago. 2 weeks maybe. Like, this was night and day, like the women's match there and the women's match here.
Okay, obviously we're wrestling podcasts. We're going to compare different things that we've seen, and I'm sure someone, meaning multiple people, are going to be like, oh, there wasn't enough blood in this for you. Oh, sorry, Sky Blue didn't have to die to make this a good match. It's like, no, it's like night and day. Kendo sticks, some chains, and a chair, where the other one had a story. It had Toni Storm screaming, quitting for her team because of her friend getting like destroyed. Like, I felt like there was no story in this other than, okay, you hit her with this. Okay, now you come in. Now pump kick to the face. Okay, like the other women's one, which was way more innovative, way more like outside of the box than usual. You had the women climbing out of the thing, going up and down it. They were doing stuff we've never seen the men do in the Blood and Guts women's match, whereas this was essentially a copy paste of all of the other women's War Games matches.
I wish WWE would, just to make this match feel different from everything else, I wish they'd do the surrender gimmick. Like, that's always what War Games is. And it's funny because this War Games is very different to what War Games is, and Blood and Guts with a different name is what War Games should be. Right. Like, war is in the title. You should have violence with this. And I think the surrender thing just makes it very different to anything else WWE does. And it's almost like they're, like, oh, we don't want to confuse our audience, so like, let's just make it pinfall or submission. And it just feels a little weaker that way. I think when it's surrender, you can really amp the violence or the threat of violence to cause that surrender to happen. I was disappointed. And I also feel like, this pay-per-view summed up what my issue has been with Paul Levesque's WWE pretty much since WrestleMania 40. And that is, this company is about moments and entrances. And this War Games, like, especially with the long ramp, we had 3-minute intervals, but those 3 minutes only really started when that person enters the ring. We did away with the shark cages. So both men's and women's matches felt like just 30-40 minutes of entrances and then the match beyond, rather than, the idea is that whole time period is to beat down, for usually the heels to get heat on the baby faces, and really, like, you know, people trying to tap out, but they're not able to because the match hasn't started yet. And it was just like, let's see the procession of the entrances of everyone, all these fan favorites. And that's completely what it felt like to me.
Yeah. Like, the crowd were hot to see the characters. Like you said, you get your entrances of everyone, but just felt like the stereotypical of the, okay, we're going to go to okay, now you run in with the kendo stick and body shots. And I don't know, it just feels like you're doing the same thing quite often with these matches. Maybe it was on me thinking we were going to get something different, but I night and day when I watched the blood and guts women's match was terrifying. Like that was like Terrifier. That was just like brutality, and exactly what they promoted it as: war. This is violence. These two teams hate each other. They're going to kill each other. It's going to get so crazy, and it did. It was insane. Maybe too crazy for some. And then this was just, what was this?
In the past, Blood and Guts in AEW has been in July, and
true.
I know there was stuff with, you know, All In being in July this year, so kind of things have been shifted around a bit. But I wonder if it was a deliberate decision to have it just so close to
counter program.
Yeah, well, like sneakier counter programming, right? Like it's not same day, but you're gonna compare. Like they're the same match. You're gonna compare both these men's and women's matches with each other, and AEW knows they don't have those handcuffs. So like. For me, this suffered even more, like, with having seen that so recently.
That's definitely true. Like, that was so recent that, of course, you kind of compare. Like, okay, yeah, EO did a really crazy spot. I loved it. But outside of that, there was nothing else really memorable in this. And then when I think of the women's Blood and Guts, which is only like 2-3 weeks ago, if that, and there was so much stuff with the psycho girls climbing out of the thing, the glass. Like the spot in this match is what Becky getting her head stomped on and she's screaming in agony, and it's like it's just a normal match. People do this in normal matches. And then in the Blood and Guts one, you had Marina stepping in glass and then thrust kicking Mina in the chest with it. Okay, it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I don't know, maybe you just need to try a different tea.
We've said before though, it makes me realize how impressed I've been with Ethan Page since coming into WWE, because he's had a few plunder matches that he's somehow managed to make look and feel more violent than you get in WWE. And that's been achieved with no blood, no glass and thumbtacks and those kind of things. But think of the match he had recently with El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., like the implied violence in that was fantastic. And there were some risky spots that you can get away with in WWE. And like, I'm even thinking I remember, I think it was Bray versus Roman in a cell a few years ago where they put the kendo stick in the cage and like rammed the face like right into the cage. And it's stuff like that it's like, oh, that's different. And also, look, like anything to do with the eyes, you know, make you like squeamish. And I think there's so much more creativity that these people need to start coming up with and thinking outside the box. Like, the older we get, the quicker time goes. You know, it's Christmas already. It's like, it feels like it was just Christmas a week ago. Like, so these matches come around really quickly, and you've got to think of ways that separate this. And if you ask me about what have we had? 3 women's War Games matches now on the main roster? I believe 3, maybe 4. It's what is the highlight of each one? Can you go back and remember what happened in each one? Like, I remember EO jumping off the cage with a trash can.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's everyone.
That's it.
Every single one.
So yeah, I just think across the board, we either need, you know, to trust that these wrestlers are capable and safe and try and push the boundaries a little bit more, or just try and think of creative ways to make these matches stand out.
Yeah. I was just watching like, okay, cool. EO did that spot and it felt like a really long match. And then I was like, because it was like 30 minutes. I don't know how long each one went, but they went pretty long. There's only 4 matches on this show. And that women's match went 41 minutes, 10 seconds.
Right.
It felt like an hour. Just walking around. Nia Jax in a Power Ranger outfit for some reason.
Yeah, her gear was interesting, was strange. I also think they've not done the best job building Lash Legend up to this. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even think if she's had a match since debuting. Obviously, she's done the attacks on the main roster, but I feel she should have maybe had a few squash matches, just single squash matches, running through people, kind of a little mini Goldberg run before this match, because no one knows her music yet, and like there was just zero reaction of all the women in this match, and I think you could have built her up effectively in the last month for this to at least have a bit more recognition from this crowd.
Well, you know, when she changed her music to this theme in NXT like a few months ago, I'm like, okay, I don't mind the hip hop beat, the trap beat, but when it comes to like an arena, or in this case, a stadium, it doesn't necessarily work as like, oh, it's this person. It's just kind of a really chill instrumental. I'm like, I don't know if that necessarily works, but they also were like pushing on commentary, like, oh, she's never even been in a cage match, and she's her first cage match, and what did she even do in this one, really? But that went 41 minutes. That was a minute longer than the men's
right
match. That's crazy. But
at least we're starting to see some of those CFOs themes coming back in time for the Rumble. You know, well, we've got, not that it's CFOs, but we've got Gunther back with the Dvorak. Asuka's got a theme back. Kairi's got a theme back. DIY both have their themes back. Street Profits have their theme back. Like they're all so much better, more recognizable themes. And
then the like AI slop essentially.
Yeah, need to keep that going.
Yeah, let's bring back better themes in wrestling. You make all this money. Look, 40-something thousand people. You can afford to get some better music for these wrestlers. You know, when the wrestlers are like pretty vocal on social media or like take sneak disses about how their music sucks and this and that, it was time to make some changes back. So hopefully they wish Def Rebel well in their future endeavors in the near future. Also, you don't need just one group to do. You can, get other people to do music. I
feel there's some money kicking around that they could spend on this thing.
Like the Becky Lynch theme. Now, it's not necessarily my favorite, but at least she's a big enough star that it's like, a real band does her theme for her. Like I know of the band. I've known them before, but I'm not necessarily, it's not something that the theme doesn't stick out to me as like, oh, this theme, but it's her own theme from a band that's pretty popular. Like that's cool.
I think we know TKO are all about maximizing profit, right? So, and we've seen times in the past, remember when it was around 2017 where they did away with pyro for a bit and it sucked. Right. But I think it's such an important part of presentation. We've seen wrestlers get over on theme alone.
Absolutely.
Like think Bobby Roode and Nakamura and stuff like that. Yeah. Like it's their ring work wasn't necessarily lighting the world on fire, but everyone loved singing their stuff. We've seen it with Seth's theme, with Jey Uso and stuff like that. How important it is to their identity, and just think glass shatters, huge pop. Like you shouldn't be thinking for like 10, 15 seconds, who is this? Who's this coming out? Right. Okay, it's this person. Yeah. Like it's such an important part of character, and I think it's definitely money that is worth it. If you're trying to make stars, and especially what a WWE audience is. AEW don't necessarily care what the theme is. Like it still helps, but it's the wrestling that are getting these people over. WWE, it's all about production. It's all about these moments. It's about the entrances. The wrestling really comes pretty down on the list. So I'm glad they're starting to address that at least.
Yeah, the music is a big part. You watch a movie or TV show, it's almost like a second character. What would Home Alone be without that score, or Driving Miss Daisy?
Like how many times you're watching Driving Miss Daisy, banger,
banging theme song.
But like how many times you're watching Netflix or whatever, and it comes to the opening credits, and you have the option to skip, and then you're like sometimes like the theme, the Stranger Things theme kind of gets me in the mood.
I'm like, no, I want to vibe to this shit.
I want to vibe to it. It gets me in the mood for the show.
No, it keeps saying, do you want to skip it? And I press skip. and I was like, no, I kind of want to hear
I wasn't
this. So
ready.
I rewound it.
I'm
like,
not ready
yeah,
for the show.
ding, 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 ding. I've finished the 4 episodes.
I've done 2 so far.
So how does it work? There's 4 more and that's it, or is there 4 more and
4
then like
more,
it's 6
and then I
more?
think it's like I think it's 4 more and then like a long finale that comes out New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
Wait, what? Okay,
Something
sorry.
like that.
Christmas comes 4 more episodes.
Let me look this up.
Because like I watched the 4, and then I think they dropped 4 more, and then you're saying there's another drop.
So the next, right? So 3 parts. November 6th was the premiere. So the next 4 have already come out. November 26th, and then it's Christmas Day. Wait, 3 episodes on December 25th, and the series finale on December 31st.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I like that. That's nice. Like stagger dropping. That's
you
cool.
Could just put it out once a week. Like
I think I don't know. I'm glad they haven't dropped it all at once.
I agree.
I do like having a little break, and I think the Christmas Day, New Year's Eve thing is pretty smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome to our Stranger Things review.
Mm.
I tried pitching Way Stranger Things,
right?
But he's never watched it, so now he's got to add that to the list with Terrifier.
Yes,
got to watch Stranger Things.
Yes. Yeah, I'm digging it so far. I had to watch. I found like a 30-minute recap video because I could not remember.
Well, they had a recap at the beginning.
They had a recap, but I needed like a whole season 1 to 4 recap of the whole thing.
You know, I don't know if I'm alone on this, but like I loved especially the first. I love the show, the first few seasons, and then the last few seasons. It's like it takes a while, and then you're like and then it gets really good by the end of it. It's like, oh wow, okay, really good stuff in between. But then it's been so long that I feel like I just forgot or don't care anymore, and it's a weird kind of. I didn't love it as much as the others, but I'm like, I guess I gotta finish this. Like, I'm not gonna not watch it, but I'm trying to like feel it. And then I've watched 4 already, and I'm done. And then
I'm pleased I did that like long recap because it kind of got me back into it a bit because I'd forgotten all I remembered was the final image and running up that hill.
So much has happened. Think about in the span of the last time we watched a season of Stranger Things. 11 has gotten married to Bon Jovi's kid and has a baby.
Yeah.
That's what's been going on in the time. So they're not even kids anymore.
No.
They're like
I love have you seen the memes of like season 1 to season 5 and it's showing like Millie Bobby Brown as 11 in season 1 and then Eminem as today and you've got was it Will and then like Javier Bardem and stuff like that. They're pretty funny.
Yeah, it's still a good show, but
yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, shout out Steve Herrington. No relation, but I just love him still. Anyways, back to regular scheduled programming. Survivor Series, San Diego. We go to John Cena and his last PLE match, whatever that means, because Saturday night's main event will not be premium, live, or an event for that matter. But this is his last PLE match. John Cena putting his Intercontinental Championship on the line in the rematch against Dominic Mysterio. And what do you think of this John Cena shirt? I know it's San Diego and the colors and stuff, I guess, but I didn't love the white with the yellow. It looks like a coffee shop.
I actually quite liked it.
You like this one?
Yeah, I'm sick of black t-shirts.
Well, he doesn't usually do black.
Which he doesn't normally do. He's had a few. But like, no, I actually quite like this one. I thought maybe I liked it because it does look a bit like a coffee shop. Or
it looks like some sort of like he's going to serve me. Yeah, like Tim Hortons or something.
Yeah. But I don't mind it.
But like, where's the last event is in DC?
Yeah.
So what colors are those going to be? The red, white, and blue, brother.
I think it's going to be like he's going to be wearing a red and
come out in a MAGA hat.
Make WWE great again.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Trump playing him out.
Yeah.
Trump going to be there?
I think he might actually, I think he might.
Can you put money on this?
Did you hear Stephanie McMahon's going to be calling his last match?
What do you mean calling?
She's going to be on commentary for his last match.
Oh.
Kind of weird.
That's kind of weird.
I think it's her and Joe Tess. Like I'm hoping Michael Cole's on that as well.
That's really weird.
Sounds a little strange. Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, Stephanie, he owes a lot to Stephanie.
I'm
freestyle on the bus.
Yeah, the rapping on the bus, right?
Exactly. It was all because of her. So
I did quite enjoy on Raw. You know, we're seeing these snippets from the interviews and things. That's coming out the week he retires.
Yeah.
It was titled Opportunity, and it was him talking about how when he was put on Velocity, he saw it as an opportunity, whereas a lot of people would see it as a demotion. You know, you're on the Saturday morning TV show that barely anyone watches, and he was like, "No, I can be Mr. Velocity here, and I can make my name. This can be my show." And I found it kind of interesting what he was saying here. And
I think back. That's the Velocity match with Danielson, right? That he also had Bryan Danielson, John Cena, that they kind of revisited in their SummerSlam one. But Jake from the Windy City in the chat saying that she's Stephanie McMahon is actually doing the Jesse Ventura role.
So from the Oakland position, right? Isn't that what they call it? Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. That makes
Stephanie McMahon.
That's good.
Nice. So that's in what, 2 weeks? John Cena's last match. What does WWE look like without John Cena going forward? Does he show up just once in a while to be like, "Hey, I'm John Cena"? But they should not have him on for a long time after that.
Yeah, it's whether they
Hall of Fame?
Is he Hall of Fame next year?
Vegas?
Yeah.
Do it. Book it. Well, John Cena defending his Intercontinental Championship in the rematch against Dirty Dom. And there was some stuff in this match. I don't think I liked this as much as the Monday Night Raw match, but there was some good stuff. Got to shout out the Hurricanrana from Dirty Dom on the outside that turns into a power bomb ? From John Cena. The refs checking on him, the trainers checking on him, and then Roxanne and Raquel do their finishers on John, only for Dom to pretend and play possum that he was actually hurt. I thought that was absolute genius.
I thought it was smart playing off of Penta's injury from Monday, where it was exactly the same spot, a runner off the barricade and landing awkwardly on the shoulder. The problem was here, Dom landed on his left shoulder and was selling the right shoulder.
It looked like he landed on his head.
Apart from that, it looked really good.
It looked nasty.
It looked like they kind of fumbled the spot. I thought they did that well. The problem is, like on Monday's show, you know, whenever there's a legit injury, they're focusing on anything but the injured person. It just, all we saw was Solo, who looked like he just shat his pants, looked in crisis, like, fuck, what do I do here? Like looking genuinely like upset for Penta, but also like deer in the headlights, like, what do I do?
It's interesting, you know, like WWE.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, if that was LA Knight, he'd have just grabbed the mic, wouldn't he? And would have been cutting a promo, and Solo's just, what are we doing?
WWE, we are conditioned, like, if there is a serious injury, like, they're not going to put the camera on this person if their like shoulder is popped out. So they're going to put the camera on someone else, and that kind of tips you off that maybe something is going wrong. Whereas clearly, Davey, you don't watch Women of Wrestling, because when someone gets hurt, they're like, "Hey, look at this replay.
This is cool."
They got really seriously hurt. They're put on the shelf for like 4 months. Let's check it out in slow motion. It's like, dude, don't show that. All the time. I'm like, stop it. Move the camera away. Why are you showing that? Anyways, but yeah, I thought that spot was good. You know, wrestling fans, when it comes to Nepo babies, Charlotte Flair always got a lot of slack because her father is really known for doing the woo, and Charlotte Flair can't really do it. It's kind of the same thing where Dominic, bless his heart, he's on top of the world, still can't quite hit the 619. He still can't quite do that move. The frog splash has improved. The 619, I'm like, man, it's your dad's move. You gotta get that down, Pat. He does it twice in this match, sort of.
Yeah. I enjoyed this match. You know, what I didn't like, you mentioned the spot, like all the interference, the playing,
chicanery.
Playing her and then Roxanne and Raquel coming in. I hated the ref, Chad Patton red shoes spot, where he's because I think that we've seen Cena kick out of everything in his career. Think the eruption from this crowd if he kicked out of that. You know, he's taken Raquel, Roxanne, and Dom's finisher, and he kicks out.
Yeah.
I think it was a complete missed opportunity. And I think then, you know, he's kicked out those big moves. Everyone thinks that's the finish from the shenanigans. I think people start to believe that Cena's going to win again before you get to the other shenanigans with Liv coming up. But yeah, I didn't really like, we've never seen that in WWE where the ref is like, no, like at least in New Japan, like Red Shoes for all his faults, he's consistent. He's consistent where he's like, no, you just cheated. I'm not going to do anything. So didn't love that bit. I thought that was a missed opportunity.
You know, it did come to mind that I'm like, oh, they don't usually do that where the ref is like, wait a second. You know, that's the Red Shoes are like Bryce in AEW. Like he's the senior ref and like he knows when MJF is on his bullshit or whatever, right? So like it works in certain things. But you're right. This is John Cena. Maybe this ref was just like, yo, it's John Cena's last PLE match. Like, I
mean, absolutely, there is that. But if that's the case, I think Cole could have, like, maybe put that over a bit. Like, you know, even make up shit about like how Chad Patton has been. You know, Cena got him the job or something. You know, like, just I get it from the respect, but I just think, you know, it's you not get you had a reaction, like you had crowd cheering when he calls it off, but you know, the 1, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4 kick out would have got such a bigger reaction here.
I thought it was pretty fun. Maybe my favorite match on this show, I guess. Yeah. Again, I like the Raw one better, but this makes a lot of sense. The big swerve coming out here is Liv Morgan, or was that Liv Morgan? Was that Christina Aguilera? Not sure, but Dirty Dom and Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera.
She's definitely looking like the Dirty music video. Am I crazy? Yeah, because Dirty Dom, right? I mean, so Liv Morgan. Sorry,
she was in jeans. Not the
I feel like I feel like it kind of looks like. Okay. It kind of looks like that.
I think it's a stretch, but okay.
Well, she comes out and she slaps Dom, but then low blows John Cena after hugging him, turning on him, costing him the Intercontinental Championship. There was a lot of, chicanery in this match. And this, at least she's back. She's a big star and has a big reaction. But, it feels a bit of a repeat from the last year or so. But I think we needed John Cena to lose this title back to Dom anyways. So it makes sense.
This is definitely my favorite match of the show. I didn't think Cena needed to drop it here. I think it was pretty obvious when they announced the rematch that was the way it was going to go. And it was funny, like hearing people at the bar, those people that don't watch, that were getting into it. Obviously, they know who John Cena is. And they're like, John Cena's retiring. He can't lose this. I was like, you watch it. He's going to get screwed out of this. I enjoyed the match. I think Dom's great. I think he's such a fantastic heel. I like all the stuff with him and Judgment Day, and I thought all of that worked, but I just feel like so close to the end. Cena should have won this, in my opinion. But I guess it's a way of getting Liv back into it, and that again, it's WWE. It's a moment, isn't it? It's Liv Morgan returns. It's a moment, and I don't know at this point whether I'd waste that moment on John Cena or at this, like, so close to the end of his career. I'm not sure. I felt a little like, man, it's.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So we only have one match left.
Yeah. Or
will he wrestle on Raw? No, he's done Raw.
He's done Raw. Yeah, it's one match left. It's the winner of the tournament.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's fine. Like, he is going out. Give it to Dom. Dom is one of the hottest characters right now in wrestling. Can't deny it. But I don't know. Does this mean he also loses his last match?
I don't know. Right, like, I think losing here maybe tips that he'll win his last match. I think, but
yeah,
whereas I think if he won this, I think it's more up in the air. It's like, does he retire as champion, or does he drop it to I assume Gunther on the way out?
Right.
I think it would have, like now, yeah, I think it would have left things a bit more interesting if he's
like
as champion.
imagine at Saturday night's main event, he beats Gunther and then lays the Intercontinental title in the middle of the ring with his Echo jorts.
Yeah.
To retire.
Just strips naked.
Yeah, like the Oscars.
Like at the Oscars, yeah.
And he retires, and then you can't see him. Like the Invisible Guy in Mystery Men or something.
It's definitely been an interesting run this year with Cena. I've really enjoyed the second half of the year. Like I think this babyface run has been pretty fun aside from the Brock Lesnar match. I've enjoyed pretty much everything he's done since then. Now it feels like, oh man, one date left. And I think that was the other thing. It's like we're getting 2 Dom matches, whereas maybe we could have had, another opponent in there. And it's just a shame we couldn't, in my opinion, redo the Punk match with the proper dynamics. We're coming to the end of the year. We're going to be joining John and Wai for best and worst of, and I'm sure we'll be talking in depth about what this Cena run could have been. But since SummerSlam onwards, it's been pretty enjoyable, and I think like I am going to feel some emotion on December 13th with that final match.
It's definitely like since kind of X-naying the heel turn and kind of going back SummerSlam. Okay, maybe aside some of the Brock stuff, but it definitely has had a bit of a turnaround. The AJ, the Cody rematch, SummerSlam onward, like you said, like there has been some good stuff. The Dom stuff, whether this one as well, but yeah, when that's over, like where do we go with WWE? Like I do think having 45,000 fans, like a lot of that does have to do with John Cena. We're seeing the same thing in Tokyo Dome with them saying, hey, Tanahashi's wrestling, come here now or don't ever see him again. And people are like, oh shit, let's go to that. So like, I still think WWE will do fine with tickets and making money, as they always love to shove in our faces.
I think they'll be all right.
They're still going to put on some stinkers shows, that's for sure, just without John Cena.
Well, they're going to have to build up the AJ retirement tour.
The AJ retirement tour, the Randy Orton retirement tour, Chris Jericho. See, there's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot of retirement tours we could be getting on. But yeah, I like this match. I think this was maybe some of the only real match I'd like. Okay, that was fine, but I still thought I liked the Raw one a bit better. But yeah, John Cena has one left, as he points. One more match left.
One more match.
Saturday night's main event. But this was his last PLE. You think someone who was there for the rest of their life, when they tell people, I was at John Cena's last PLE.
Yes.
And then someone else will be like, well, I was at his last Monday Night Raw. And someone else will say, you're both wrong. I was at his last match ever.
And someone else will say, you're all losers.
Fucking nerds. So there you go. John Cena loses the title, and Liv Morgan's back. Dirty Dom's just got a stable of baddies. He's just That's what a mustache does to a man. You grow one of those, all your problems will be solved. We go from that to what was else on this? A lot of commercials. At one point, it cut to Topanga in the crowd here, wearing a Vader shirt. And from our Boy Meets World review many years ago, Topanga loves Vader making his appearance. So I thought that was a nice little nod to the big bad guy there. You can hear us talk about Vader versus the Shockmaster from Fall Brawl on our Patreon this week.
Yes, you can.
I love Vader. Don't necessarily love the Shockmaster, but yeah. What was next here on the Survivor Series?
Stephanie Vaquer versus Nikki Bella for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes. I'm not the biggest Bella's fan, but I love the story of, you thought I came back to be a side character? Nah, bitch. Came back to win this title. I mean, she won't, or at least she didn't, but I kind of like that. The heel turn made a whole lot more sense and made a whole lot more things interesting with Nikki Bella coming back into WWE. Now, honestly, don't really care to watch Nikki Bella in 2025 in the world of wrestling, but out of anything they could have done, I thought that was really creative and makes you go, oh, like what a mean lady this Nikki Bella is. Screw you. I got to see Vaquer get her revenge. And I mean, that's what happened. I didn't necessarily love this match by any means, but you got the crowd happy with that devil's kiss on the commentator desk. It hurts more
Yeah.
when it's on the commentator desk.
I think this was Nikki's best showing since she's come back. I wouldn't say she's obviously anywhere near the top of the division, but I think she held her own here against Vicaire, and she's definitely improved over her time in and out of the company. I don't think there was any doubt who was going to win this match, and therefore on a 4-match show didn't feel the most exciting. Like I get that they wanted to put another women's match on there, but you know, I didn't think anything but Stephanie winning this.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I think this could have been on a Raw or something as well. Like it didn't blow me away by any means, but it also wasn't bad. And that twisting moonsault she does to finish, it always looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Nikki is like one of the only wrestlers to kick out of the SVB.
SVB, yeah.
Which I still hate.
He's like, this ain't a finish.
This is not a finishing move. Absolutely not. And she kicked out of it. But yeah, I think Vicaire keeps this title till WrestleMania. What would you say is her matchup? Is it Rhea Ripley, Vicaire? Is it Io one more time? Like, she's got to have a big WrestleMania matchup, I would say, for her first one.
Io makes a whole lot of sense.
I know we've done it.
I know we've seen it, but I think that feels big. But then you've got babyface dynamic. There's nothing obvious. I do think she should hold the title till Mania, but that is still quite a way away. And it's whether they wanted to shuffle things around at all. You know, we've just had Liv Morgan come back, whether they want to prepare her. Maybe Liv wins the Rumble and challenges Vicaire, which is relatively fresh because Vicaire got called up, I believe, when she was injured. So I don't know. I'm very unclear on the card for Mania next year, which I think normally around this time we have inklings of where we're going. But
I think, this time around, like, this is a real start to looking at where we're going with like Royal Rumble and everything going into WrestleMania. And you could do Stephanie Becky. You could do Stephanie Charlotte, like some of the big ones we haven't got.
Stephanie Becky would make sense.
Yeah. Some big matchups there. But this show is tough. It's like 4 matches, 45,000 people. It was this didn't need to be on the show, like you said, but like, what else? I guess there probably was a lot else you could have added on this show, but anyways, it was a match that happened. I guess. But yeah, then there was the main event. Took up another 40 minutes of the show. The men's War Game match. Shout out CM Punk. I guess his gear got lost in the mail, so he's wearing it here. The Halloween 3 Season of the Witch inspired gear on his trunks here. I thought at first I was like, is that the Blink-182 album? And then I looked closer. I'm like, oh no, it's the Shamrocks. What is it?
Who we talking about here?
CM Punk's trunk.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Had Halloween 3, like the witch, the pumpkin, and the skeleton on the back of his trunks there. So I mean, great movie. You can hear our review somewhere on this free feed in the past. But underrated 80s movie. I know it gets lost, but it's not the worst in the franchise. I think agree on that. But Braun Breaker coming out with some spiky jacket, little Beetlejuice almost with that spikes coming out of it. But I mean, this easily one of the biggest star-studded big main events, including War Games. I mean, you have Roman, Cody, Punk, the Usos, Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, The Vision, all that stuff. No Seth, but still, it's a big.
It was stacked. Yeah, the most star-studded War Games ever, I think.
Absolutely, and like you said last week, like Brock not being in one before is a big draw of like, oh, what could Brock do in it? We found out not really a whole lot, actually. He didn't do anything.
He did Brock stuff, did a bunch of suplexes, F5s, usual.
It's really on myself. It's the Arrested Development. I don't know what I expected, but it was Brock doing the same thing, just except there's 2 rings and there's double cage. But funniest moment of the show was Jey Uso in the middle. This is supposed to be a battlefield. This is supposed to be war. Jey Uso decides, I'm going to rewind it, do my theme song again, which always gets a laugh out of me. Him blasting the theme. He climbs the cage and he starts dancing while swinging on the cage like Miley Cyrus on a wrecking ball while he's yeeting all over the place. And then Brock's music hits where he's like, oh shit. That was pretty funny. And then again, Brock just doesn't really do anything. But that was the highlight of my men's War Games match, was that visual of him rocking and yeeting, and then the music just party's over. I
mean, I wouldn't say Brock didn't do anything. He took out the entire team. But
what was different than, imagine the cage, just two rings wasn't there. He does the exact same thing every week anyways, if he was on TV. So yeah, that's what I kind of mean. Like, yeah, he went in and did some German suplexes. He doesn't need 2 rings to do that. He doesn't need a cage to do that. He just always does that anyways. But I don't know. I felt like if you were to play War Games on your SmackDown versus Raw and you put Brock Lesnar, I'm making Brock do a shooting star off the top. I'm making him do at least what does he do? He goes outside the cage at one point. He puts Roman through
they had to remind us, which they conveniently changed the rules slightly to make this work. But yeah, obviously you leave this cage, it's surrender. But them saying that doesn't count until we reach the match beyond here.
Yeah, true. So he leaves it, which means the match beyond hasn't started. He beats up Roman, puts him through the commentator desk, and then brings him back. And then they didn't call it the match beyond, but the match starts essentially. Yeah. I wonder why. Is it because AEW is using it that they are like, we don't want to say the same verbiage? But
I have no idea.
It made it feel weird that they didn't, because Michael Cole trying to explain to it's like, we know how it works, but at the same time he was like, now the match starts. It's like, wait, I was watching the match for you
have Alicia Taylor say, let the War Games begin, right?
Yeah. But so when they're all in the ring, I guess is when it goes down, sort of.
Yeah, I didn't it's cool. I think some of the pairings is cool to look at, and Punk was probably. I was surprised Punk came out first, because you think, man, he's going to go the longest in this match.
Yeah.
But also, I think he maybe has the most interesting history. Obviously, he's got the feud with the Vision going on right now. He's had the feud with Drew in the past. He's had the feud with Brock in the past. So I think he was the most interesting one to do callbacks of different pairings from the past and stuff. I'd say similar to the women's, not a whole lot. We at least had a little bit of color with Cody and Punk here. And then typical, I kind of couldn't hear it in the bar, but right after the match, it's Roman saying, what, to Cody, we're never teaming again, as it was going off air.
Right.
He was like, we're done, we're never teaming again, because basically they're telling this story of Cody, Roman, and Punk, who are all pissed at each other. They all wanted to be leader. They all kind of blaming the other one. So I wonder if that's building any direction sort of going into Mania or whatever. But yeah, didn't think again, saw anything new. I do enjoy seeing Brock throw people around, especially going Punk and Brock, because that's such a long time ago since we had that SummerSlam match. But yeah, not surprised with the Vision winning, but I guess we should talk about how the finish came about.
Yeah. Okay. We just said it's one of the biggest star-studded matches in recent memory in WWE. Not, let alone a War Games, just star-studded. All the people in this match in one match is pretty big. You know what it needs though? A guy in a mask, a mystery masked man angle to close the show. It's for fuck's of all the times. Okay, sure. Okay, so what does he do? He does Seth Rollins' moveset. Okay, this is the low on the knees super kick into the stomp, and then he crawls the cage and escapes. But we know this isn't Seth Rollins. But we know Seth Rollins this year loves to play mind games about injuries and all this stuff. Are they going to spin it as Seth Rollins was faking another injury yet again? Seth Rollins, they're just going to pretend Seth Rollins never did that diving headbutt in that one match, and they're going to pretend that he's still going. Or dare we say, was all those months ago when someone, was it Meltzer who randomly brought up Austin Theory is going to be involved in the War Games? And we all laughed. This guy looked like a whole lot like Austin Theory under that mask.
He was pretty sprite, wasn't he? I I didn't dislike the mystery angle at all. I think at least this gives. I thought they were going to do the reveal right after the match, like they usually do.
Sure.
I'm glad we didn't. It at least adds some intrigue moving forward. I always say, like, shows should make you want to watch the next episode, see what's happening next, right? You shouldn't just be like, oh, well, I've watched that, move on, forget about it. So I think that was a good hook for moving forward with Raw. I'm with you. I think Austin Theory makes a whole lot of sense. You know, he was one of Rollins' disciples back in the day. I don't think it makes sense to be Rollins at all because the Vision took him out.
Right.
But it's whether, like, how long are they dragging this out for? Did they not reveal it because maybe we'll reveal it in January when some contracts are available, i.e. Jericho or something like that?
Absolutely.
Jericho is someone who's done the mask gimmick quite a few times in his career. Now, you could get around it with, obviously, Jericho is still under AEW contract right now, but just have him masked until that contract is available. I don't know. Any other theories, pardon the pun, who this could be?
I don't know. I felt like, okay, so like I said, this angle at the end is this is the start of like teasing, okay, is it Roman Cody that we're going to for WrestleMania? Like the Rubber Mania match, essentially. It's one apiece at WrestleMania. Do we need a third one? I don't know, but it sounds to me like they were teasing that.
I don't hate that at all. You know, we've both matches have been excellent between the two of them, and I think it adds a different dynamic with both being baby faces going into this one. It could be, you know, a bit of a callback to 17. Could that be where Cody turns? Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I think there are fresher things I'd like to see, especially, you know, we don't know how long we have a CM Punk. I think CM Punk Cody Rhodes for WrestleMania feels huge.
Is
they've
that not the
teased it
biggest
a couple
match?
of years.
That's
the match I would go with. But there are worse things you could put on than a rubber match between Cody and Roman also.
Like, after watching this, okay, Braun Breaker, with help from the mystery man, pinned the champion. So, like, storyline-wise, the Royal Rumble or Saturday night's main event, it should be Braun versus Punk for the title. Like, that should be it. And I don't know if that's necessarily the Mania match. I think the biggest match possible for WWE this year, last year, and the year since Punk coming back is Cody versus Punk. Ever since Cody, especially winning the title at Mania 40, like, that is the ultimate big match situation at this point, I would say.
I would actually have, and I can't think if they've done this at a Rumble before, so it would be fresh. I'd have Braun beat Punk at Royal Rumble to win this title, and then Punk enter like number 30 in the Rumble and win it and challenge Cody.
So you're saying Punk loses the title at the Rumble to Braun,
and
then opens up
and then wins the Rumble match. Yeah.
Right.
And then I think if Seth is ready for Mania, you have
Roman.
Seth and Braun. No, Seth and Braun.
Seth and Braun, of
all
course,
lined up with Seth coming back from injury. And
what do you do with Roman?
You see, Roman Braun is something you could do as well, isn't it? Or
Bronson Roman again.
That doesn't feel big enough.
There's not a key. There's a key miss. There's like a piece missing there of like.
We found this the last few years, haven't we? And that's how we came about with the triple threat match.
I mean,
this year was because
there's
a piece missing.
I just think Cody and Punk is the biggest match.
I agree
in this era. Like, you've done Roman Punk sort of. You didn't do the singles match, and that you blew that. I don't want to see that now. So.
Yeah.
And Seth Roman still feels like something they'd go to, but I don't know. You still have Logan Paul in the mix. I guess Drew, who just looked so thrilled to be there. I don't know. I just think that if you're doing Vegas, Punk, Cody, main event, night 2 would be like probably. But again, watching this show, you would imagine they're teasing Roman and Cody one more time, or Braun and Roman, or
Brock and Braun, maybe.
We're forgetting about Brock, right? Of course.
Like, you could do Brock and Braun, and then then that would leave you with Seth and Rollins, which, again, that match feels like they wanted to do for a while that they keep on.
Forgot Brock's on the poster, so he's back, so he's definitely at WrestleMania. Do you think they got rid of the shark cages because they didn't want to have Brock behind bars on this show? I feel like that's definitely the reason they were like, let's get rid of that for a set. Think of the memes people will use.
I think it works better with the entrances,
yeah.
right? Like I know they do the entrances before entering the cage, but doing it this way allows like a bit of a
hype up.
The pop. It's like who is coming out next?
Yeah.
Who is the next man to enter?
Yeah.
So I preferred it without the shark cages personally.
Yeah, shout out Paul Ellering. Shout out best match ever shark cage. You can find somewhere in our archives.
Oh,
but...
yeah, we did do that.
Yeah, okay. Like on the spot, Mania matches, Cody, Punk, Seth, Braun, Roman. I don't know. Roman says he wants the title. He's coming for a belt. So
Roman Gunther.
Yeah, Gunther needs a spot. He'll be
That's
doing
fresh.
something. Yeah,
you know, like
true.
Yeah, I feel Rollins, Braun, Brock, and Gunther. You could do any combination of them. I think would work.
I can't say I enjoyed this show a whole lot. I thought this was pretty mediocre. I don't know. I was expecting just. I'm not saying I'm expecting blood and violence. I was just expecting a bit more story driven. And the story I got was just a copy paste of like, okay, a mystery guy. And we're going to go into that angle and stuff. And I don't know. It didn't necessarily thrill me this time around. And I was going in with maybe on my own problem. There was like, I had some high expectations.
I wasn't expecting much more than this, to be honest. I didn't hate the show. Like as we said, whizzing through commercials and stuff, it's a pretty quick show to watch. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't think anything was particularly special. I think a missed opportunity as well. I think I'd have preferred Cena being in the Cena having Jimmy's spot in War Games, and just again giving the opportunity one more time to see Cena mix it up with all of those people on the heel side.
I agree.
And then you can still tell the story of him losing and trying to find that confidence before his final match to get that one last win. I feel that would have made this match feel even bigger and at least had a bit of that sort of sentimental feel you've had with these last few Cena matches that have been happening.
Like, to me, this is like reminding me WWE right now. Okay, 40,000 people, a stadium, probably a lot of people watching this. Number one on Netflix, I'm sure, today, at least in Canada. Their WWE pay-per-views do pretty well, especially with a lot of this John Cena stuff. But it's like Jurassic Park to me right now. Jurassic Park put out Jurassic Park 8 or something, 7? I don't know what it was. They put it out this last year. It gets so many bad reviews. However, it makes so much money worldwide that they just announced like another one, maybe 2 more with the same people, all these things coming back, and they're doing the exact same formula. Even though people are like, this movie pretty sucks. Anyone I watched it, anyone I talked to, worldwide, this movie is breaking records and still the machine is going. And I feel like that's right now. It's like, I watch this. So many people now are talking, oh, WWE, I'm back in it. John Cena's retirement. It's got like the talk of the town. It's so much popular than it feels like it was. And then when you watch it, everyone's just like, oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah. It's like, oh man. I mean, it's not as bad as, how it was Jurassic Park 3, but still. I don't know. I want to watch it, but I got to watch all the other ones to catch up. I've said this a few times now, and I just want them to like rip up the rule book of wrestling and just think. People need rules. Think differently. Stop falling in these same traps. And it seems like Triple H had a year, 18 months of good ideas. We said this about Tony Khan before, where it's like suddenly your notebook of ideas has ran out. So you're just falling back to the tropes. And it's a shame because they were in such a hot place a little bit ago. But the corporate side of this has completely taken over. As you said, it feels like you're just watching a giant commercial that wrestling is just sprinkled into it. It doesn't feel like a wrestling show anymore. It's a giant machine, a giant train that's like, hey, this is one giant commercial you're watching. What's it doing? It's promoting the next giant commercial that you're also going to be watching. But now we're going to charge you more to watch this. I couldn't imagine. Again, we're in Canada. I couldn't imagine. What is this? ESPN? You got to watch these on now? ESPN Plus. Absolutely not. Get out of there. Get out of town. Junk. You want people to pay how much more? And this was the show that I got. Like, I would not a chance. That is crazy. But we're we're lucky because you meet people like you said. Sometimes you like at the bar last night. I'm sure people are like, "Oh wait, this is on Netflix now. This is part of my Netflix." Every day I talk to someone who I explain wrestling, blah blah blah. They go, "Oh well, WWE's on Netflix. Oh, maybe I'll watch that." John Cena.
A guy literally asked that. He was like, "Wait, so this is live and then it's just on demand?" I was like, "Yeah, every show is."
Yeah, literally had a conversation yesterday with someone at a fucking flea market talking about some wrestling thing he was selling. He goes, "Wait, it's on Netflix now?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can watch it." He's like, "Get out of town. I can watch it." I'm like, "Yeah, it's on Netflix." And maybe they need to explain to people, but I don't know. They're doing fine. They're doing fine. And maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
They're doing too fine. That they're playing it safe. And the content kind of sucks. But don't worry. The Royal Rumble's in Saudi, so we're good.
I don't care where it is. Just be good. You know, I don't give a fuck. Good. Like certain parts of the US are completely fucked up as well. Like I don't give a shit where the show is at this point. Just make it worth
Corpus
fucking
Christi.
watching. You know,
just make the show good.
Yeah.
Maybe John Cena will come out with that hat. We'll see. But yeah, War Games. I can't even say thumbs in the middle. Thumbs down for me on this show. I didn't even hate it. I wish there was something on the show that I passionately hated. It was just so.
I found this
happened.
year as a whole really disappointing across the board. Like I'm including AEW
just in life
in that as well. I'm found sure. No, I just find everything feels tired. Nothing feels new. Nothing feels exciting. There've been good matches. There have been good matches. We always get good matches. Yeah. The wrestlers are really good at the moment, but just everything else, it just feels so tired, recycled. And that's not just WWE. That's completely across the board.
Yeah, fair enough. Not the best year in wrestling, that's for sure. But I mean, there's still some good stuff, but we shall see what happens, and we shall see who is the masked man coming out of Survivor Series. Is it Austin Theory? Is it Chris Jericho? Is it Seth Rollins? We shall see in the near future. But there you go. Agree, disagree. Let us know in the comments, as always. Yeah. Then we can move on. We hung out this weekend. Sorry, not this weekend. This week. We got together on Wednesday evening. We recorded our WCW Fall Brawl 93 review, which is available now. What a terrible show. That show is way worse than what I just watched.
Yeah.
That's like 10 thumbs down if I could. But Jesse came over to the BDE. We hung out. Jesse, our friend, Jesse from the Six. I hope I'm not breaking kayfabe. Jesse is a vegetarian, and Davie, Chef Davie, sometimes you like to cook up for the boys when we come over. And you offered to make Jesse some vegetarian chili.
Yes.
But Jesse, being our friend, knows that we like to, and I say we, definitely you like to dabble in the hot sauce.
Oh, yeah.
And hot spices. So he asked us politely when he came over to record that you not make the chili spicy because his partner, his girlfriend, says that when he eats spicy food, he gets really farty.
He farts a lot.
The farting machine. So you didn't make it spicy, and I know that hurt your soul. But then you have more hot sauce that you bought in New York.
Oh yeah,
so
always.
You must have the entire Hot Ones collection that whenever the boys come over for wrestling events, you line up the sauces. Let me paint everyone a picture here. You line up the sauces like it is Hot Ones, and then everyone starts going, this is pretty good. And then it starts getting crazy because then people start acting macho, and then their tongues get burned off.
There's always, you have the thick sauces and the runny sauces. So especially when you've had a couple of thick ones in the row where you've got to really shake the bottle. And then suddenly there's a crazy hot one, which is runny. And it's just, it's gone.
It's going to be runny the next day.
Yeah.
Well, I was pretty farty because I added hot sauce into mine, but I'm sure Jesse was too. But we hung out, we had some chili, and we watched Dynamite, AEW Dynamite, the Continental Classic. Kicked off with some really great wrestling. I thought there were some awesome matches. Maybe one of, if not the best Dynamite of the year, in my opinion. That comes off the top of my head.
I really enjoyed this show. I'm going to say this was my favorite wrestling show of the week, and that included Full Gear. I thoroughly enjoyed Dynamite this week.
Wow.
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, like the C2, as the kids call it. The wrestling has always been good so far in the short years that we've had this, but they were coming out the gate swinging with some great wrestling here. Like this Nashville crowd were ready for what we got. I mean, you started things off with Kazuchika Okada, Kyle Fletcher, Don Callis family against each other here, and I thought this was pretty great. It was Fletcher last year that had the win over Okada, and we did the same thing here with Fletcher going over his bandmate, his buddy Okada, with some awesome back and forth. My only critique is this was 20 minutes, where I wish this felt like it was 5 minutes. And they're like, yeah, this match went on for whatever. And it's like, man, down the line, we got to go back to this, because it was really good. But some of those spots were crazy. The rainmakers and the roll-ups and everything. But awesome way to kick off the show, I thought.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I like how they've positioned all three of these now, like Takeshita, Okada, and Fletcher, as like the leaders of the Don Callis family. And I thought this was great. I love them both pulling heel tactics on each other, kicking the ref into the ropes, and then Fletcher doing the same back. And I think it was great booking, having Fletcher be the one that always has Okada's number and winning this thing. It's keeping him really strong. He just lost the TNT Championship. I think Fletcher is someone, we've seen him challenge for the world title. I see him being a world champion at some point and keeping this momentum with a win over Okada. I thought was really good. I didn't necessarily want more of this match. I thought it was a great length for it. Yes, down the line where we have a more serious feud, maybe you can push it, but I didn't come away from this match feeling robbed of anything else. I thoroughly enjoyed this, but we should go into what's going on with the belts, because it was a question I wanted to ask Tony Khan last Saturday. Well, actually, technically Sunday morning.
It was Sunday at 2 a.m. Yeah.
About what the deal is, because Don Callis announced this is for the Continental Championship. Tony Schiavone explaining as Okada came out that he has forfeited the Continental Championship for this tournament, which means that he's no longer unified champion and he is just international champion. Now, to me, it kind of points in the direction that Okada is going to win this thing again. Because I think he'll come out as unified champion.
Yeah.
But I think this tournament's awesome. And I think the lineup this year is the best lineup they've ever had. There's so many matches on this thing where just look juicy, different, like real juicy combinations. Everyone feels like a top guy and super excited. I'm going to be watching Collision. I watched Collision this week, because I want to watch these tournament matches. However, this tournament is way more grueling than the Owen. And the prize for winning the Owen is so much bigger than this. For this, you're winning the third championship at best. So, you're doing this for the US title. You're doing this for the European Championship, essentially, which just feels less than. And I wish they changed that. I think this is the right time of year to do the tournament, because this is typically the downtime in wrestling, November through to November, December, January time January you heat up for the Rumble in WWE, but this tends to be the quieter time in wrestling. So I think it's a great time to do a round robin tournament like this. But then at the end of the day, you're just winning this championship, which we haven't even seen on TV since July. So I find that a little weird. But taking all that aside, we're getting some awesome wrestling.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the title thing is confusing, but also can you not just make it make sense? I don't know. I think they overthink it with some of the stuff that they do, especially with all of these titles in AEW, and they still just they're adding titles still, like Ricochet and the women's tag. Okay, cool, but sort out what means what and everything, and trying to explain it. I thought they didn't do a good job, to be completely honest. I think I put it to the side in the back of my head, I don't care, just wrestle. Please just ring the bell, and I want to see some great wrestling. And I did, and I got some awesome wrestling. But when they had the commentary trying to just run over it, and I was like, what? This sounds way overcomplicated. This sounds like when work sends you this really overcomplicated email, but then when you talk to someone face-to-face in person, they explain it in like a sentence or less, and you're like, oh, why didn't you just say that? It's kind of like this.
I don't find it confusing. I just find it stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Like it's fine. It's the titles are ununified now because he's putting one of the belts up for grabs. Why was this not explained clearly previously? Like you're just watching and Okada's coming out with this different, the international championship and all that. It's just stupid. It should just be for the unified. Chris Jones in the chat saying Excalibur blurted out something about the international title is on the line in the semis. Yeah. I don't understand this. I didn't catch that, but like what? So then will it eventually be for the unified anyway? Like,
I don't know.
I don't understand. Or will it be, someone else, like let's say Takeshita wins the international championship in the semi and Okada wins the Continental championship in the final and they then go to unify? I don't know. It seems pointless. It seems stupid. And I wish they'd just do this for a title shot at Revolution. Or something.
Honestly, Okada should not be in the tournament. It should be the winner of this tournament faces him. That should just be it. Simple. Like you're giving away that Okada is going to go all the way to the end. And you mean the guy that even though they're in the same stable, they've been feuding together and you've been holding off on this match? It's clearly where they're going to go. But I say that because I thought that we were going to get that the last one. But now it's this. I think they're just trying to overcomplicate it or try to. I don't know. It's just kind of silly. But then again, we're getting really good wrestling. Really thought all the matches in this tournament on Wednesday were great. And like looking to where we're going next week just continues the train of like, there's a lot of just bangers incoming. So we had that match to kick off with Okada and Fletcher, and I thought that was good. Quickly, I guess, go through what were the other matches in this tournament?
I loved Kevin Knight, Darby Allin. I think they had an awesome match, and I think that was again great booking having Kevin Knight win this thing. You have Darby, who his story is he's completely beaten up, from the pack match, from going through the fire and all that. So it allowed Kevin Knight to pick up this victory while still picking it up clean and fair and square, but also somewhat protecting Darby with these injuries. And I think that's Kevin Knight's someone that they're clearly very high on. We heard at the presser how like Tony Khan and Renee were like, he's a guy to watch out for. He's the future. Yeah. So I loved that booking, and I thought the match was excellent. I can't. It's rare I see a Darby Allin match that I don't enjoy. And I think he's the one in this tournament where you're like, that match looks interesting. That match looks cool. Match looks cool.
Like Darby's a smaller guy and he does a lot of like crazy stuff, but Kevin Knight is not necessarily huge and does a lot of like high flying. And I thought they meshed really well together. That moonsault on the outside was so clean. I couldn't imagine that they replayed that a whole bunch. And we were screaming like, whoa, how did he do that? Like he's fantastic. And I thought that was definitely a sleeper hit. Didn't expect that to be as good as it was. And this Wednesday is Fletcher versus Kevin Knight. So like, yeah, they're going to go balls to the wall, I'm sure. Something else I don't know, I should have expected was lit because maybe this was my favorite on the show. Jon Moxley versus Mascara Dorada.
Oh, yeah.
What a match. Sleeper hit for me. I thought this was great. One of my favorite TV matches of the year for sure. Like there was such a clash of the characters. And if you were to ask me at the beginning of the year, who's maybe the front runner for wrestler of the year, I would 100% have not said Jon Moxley. But now, November 30th, I'm like, man, Moxley's had a really good year. And this was a really fun TV match. Dorada is crazy.
I'm thinking the same thing. And even at that first part of the year, I'd say it was booking more so than his in ring. Like right. I think it was Full Gear last year. We had the orange match, didn't we? But yeah, he's had great matches all year round. I just think there was the Cope feud was definitely the lowest point. I think was the feud with Cope. But like, man, especially on TV, some of the matches he had with Garcia on TV were excellent. He's the Ishii match they had again, and this was my match of the night. Just a complete styles clash, and you realize how good and well-rounded Jon Moxley is. And I love that finisher, like the
submission,
the submission with especially the angle, like the over the ring bird's eye view of this devastating looking like body squeeze choke thing he had going on, looked awesome. And
yeah,
I thought this was fantastic. And
this was probably my match of this week, of like between this and whatever else I watched this weekend. But catching up, well, we watched that on Wednesday, but yeah, it was awesome. And we have, so Moxley won, which means that his kind of losing streak is kind of broken there a little bit. But this Wednesday is Claudio versus Moxley. Is it happening? Are we getting the bags out? Get the bags out, boys. That means something different, I'm sure, for some people. But get the plastic bag out. Is it happening?
It's an interesting one because it makes sense, right? Like that you have this match and then they murder Moxley after it. But it's kind of weird to do in the middle of a tournament where then Moxley's going to be, both guys are going to be going off in different directions facing these other people, and you can't necessarily tell that story. So I don't know if they go for it right now. Like, I mean, do you have, I think you should maybe have Claudio win this thing. And you could do the handshake after, but still Death Riders giving those looks like
the Claudio stuff has been really like, they're pushing that. Even when the Death Riders come out, they look at Claudio now and he gives them like the nod to attack people, and like he's given the little like side eye about Moxley for the past few weeks. So I do think Claudio will be positioned as the leader of this group.
I'm not like, I was thinking more Pac would be the leader of this group, and maybe that could be the semi-final match and we have the angle,
right?
But then I don't see either of these guys going to the final. So
wouldn't it be funny though? Like Moxley is going to get the bag over the head and get exiled from the Death Riders, and then when he comes back, he's probably the babyface in that feud, which is like, he's been the most diabolical a-hole this whole year, but all of a sudden we're supposed to like be on his side essentially. But I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with that. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat is saying, Chris Jones in the chat saying, Moxley should have lost via flash pin to continue the descent into madness. I think that's what we were saying while we were watching that on Wednesday. Like, oh, he's going to get rolled up.
I didn't mind him winning here. I don't think he should just be on this losing streak.
Yeah.
I think all of his losses he takes should just be from submission. I don't think a pin over him furthers the story necessarily. I think it's the fact that he's quitting that goes against what the Death Riders stand for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting. Like, I don't know if you'd necessarily do this angle in the middle of the tournament.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Now that you said, like, there's still so much to go on. And then afterwards you could, like, when he finally gets eliminated from this tournament, perhaps.
Yeah.
Is when you could finally be like, okay, actually, he's
It
done.
also should be a show closing angle, right? Like, it's hard to do that angle and then continue. It should be after a main event.
Right. Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I love the Moxley match with Dorada. He's someone who's fantastic to watch. Like, he's one of the quickest dudes going. Like, every time he wrestles, he's coming up with, he's Rey Mysterio's in the late 90s. It's like every match he's doing something that you haven't seen before and you probably won't. So this guy's like not even 30. And this is not Grand Metalik, by the way.
No.
This guy is incredible. Like, I love watching him wrestle, and I thought the mesh of styles was interesting. So even this guy in this tournament is going to be great. But yeah, Moxley versus Claudio is next week, as well as Pac versus Okada, which is nuts. So like, there's some good those three matches next week is pretty crazy. What was even crazier was Tony Storm and Jon Moxley interacting on AEW Dynamite. Was this done on a dare or something? Did someone say something and they were like, we need to get these two on screen? We had Tony Storm coming out in like not just black and white, because she's more colorful now, right? She was wearing like a golden thing, but she was like talking to Jon Moxley, calling him Johnny and all this shit. I thought this was two characters you wouldn't picture.
Well, yeah, especially this iteration of Jon Moxley. It feels so weird. But I think Tony's fantastic. She makes this gimmick feel completely her now. You know, when she first started it, it feels like she's playing this character, whereas now you just completely believe that this is who Toni Storm is.
Yeah.
And I
mean, she is. We talked to her all in weekend. She lives the gimmick, brother.
Yeah.
She
And yeah, I just found this a really interesting interaction between the two. Didn't like Marina wearing the basketball jersey. That was a weird look for her. I didn't think she looked quite as mean as she normally does. She looked more like she was nipping off to the shops to pick up some milk or something. But kind of looked weird. But the Tony Moxley interaction was pretty fun.
I thought that was funny. Her calling him Johnny and everything was great. And he was just looking confused, like, what the fuck's going on?
Like, why am I here? Can I leave? Can I leave?
Can I go? What's happening? And then someone else in the chat Jake is saying Mark Briscoe's backstage promo was the best thing. That was great too. I know we were at the presser, and anyone who watched that or listened, he kind of said similar things in that press conference afterwards, but this was clearly taped right after winning this title backstage, and him kind of, talking about his brother and the hardships and everything. But they've really done a good job with Mark Briscoe and kind of giving him some flowers in 2025 in AEW. And I'm really loving it. I didn't think I would love it as much as I did. And I've always been a Briscoe's fan, but good for him. That definitely was my match of the night at Full Gear that I thought about, like that and the tag, but him winning, like, okay, it's not a world title, but a title, and he's featured in big TV segments and big pay-per-view matches. And I think he's killing it. So yeah, pretty emotional stuff from Mark Briscoe.
Something I wasn't really keen on was the Samoa Joe victory thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I have no problem with Joe being champion. I do think they ended this Hangman reign way too early, in my opinion. I think this should have been a really long, establishing reign.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think Joe is someone that you can throw the belt on whenever, and it's a shock, but it's also, I mean, he's Samoa Joe, so sure.
Yeah.
But I hate the idea of this Samoa Joe championship reign being a device to get over Hook. And that's completely what it felt like. It was like, hey, I'm the champion, I'm the king, blah, blah, blah. But isn't Hook great? And then Hook comes out to I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain, or whatever the fuck his music is.
It's like New York or something. I don't know.
Zero reaction. Can't cut a fucking promo. Looks like compared to everyone else, just so tiny. And Hook, the meme of Hook a few years ago was fun. And we saw him throw the odd suplex and be like, oh,
send Hook.
This kid can throw a suplex, but he should be nowhere near the top of this card. He should be working ROH shows. He should be working indies and getting better. But, and I don't even mind this lower down. Do this for a TNT championship run or something. But your world title, this shock win, seems to just be a way to try and get over Hook. I actually hate that.
I think there's an opportunity with Hook that he could be better and potentially better, but he got over with that year where he just seemed popular. I mentioned Send Hook when Punk brought that up, and he became the meme wrestler of the time. And they put him on TV a lot. Do that. Wow, that's hot. In the world of modern wrestling, a Joe Hendry or a John Cena, meme shit gets people over in today's era. And if they're popular online, why not try to capitalize on that? Sure. But he's been off TV. Then they bring him back. He's been kind of a wishy-washy character. He's been this B, C, D level character. The ops storyline that not a single person cared about or even noticed, frankly. Remember hearing people in the arena that night, oh, wait, he's not in the ops when he came into that cage. It's like, no, he left. And then actually he didn't. Terrible way to get Joe over. I thought that was really lazy. And I still think you could workshop Hook. You said, put him on Ring of Honor, make him Ring of Honor champ eventually, make him do all this stuff, but he's just clearly not ready to be in this world title position. And to give Joe the win via trying to use this rub to make Hook seem better and bigger than he is, we see through it right away. And my other issue is, okay, Hangman's title reign being so short. Okay, I do agree, but okay, it's a bit of a shock and oh, look, Samoa Joe did it again when we everyone didn't think that was going to happen. Okay, you got us. Cool. But like Hangman should have started the show on Dynamite, walking out to the ring being like, yo, I got screwed because of Hook? You mean Taz's kid is the reason I'm not world champion? No, Joe, give me my title back. I want a rematch right now. Like, you screwed me. No, that wasn't the case. It was Joe in the ring with a really lame celebration, and then Swerve and Hangman walk out, and then later they come out to like confront them. And Hangman didn't seem all that fussed that he got fucking screwed over by Tom Holland lookalike. He's just mad that like, oh yeah, I guess I'll fight with what? Where was the story here? Like, if this was a movie or a TV show, I felt like we skipped through some things here.
I mean, going back to like just laziness and going back to the wrestling rule book, the Ops are just the Death Riders now. They're
all of a sudden, they're
just telling the same story, and now we've got a surprise new member.
We have Shibata.
It's Hook. It's just such a 180 for all these characters that feels kind of out of nowhere. Yeah. And we've told this story already this year of like faction dominance. We have the stuff with the Don Callis family as well. I get it. It's hard to write a babyface champion. Like the story is always in the chase, but you've got to tell a different story. You can't just tell the same one. And I also don't understand necessarily the Swerve Hangman connection as it comes to the Ops. Like, yes, Swerve helped Hangman. They seem to bury the hatchet at All In. Swerve helped Hangman win. But that was as much Swerve making sure that the Death Riders do not have this championship anymore. Swerve had no issue with the Ops before leaving. They were like on the same page, on the same team and stuff. So I find that, again, as you said, we've skipped a bit of storytelling here. And
like Hangman, the whole story of 2025 in AEW was the main character is back as the main character. The Cowboy's back in the saddle again. He's going for it one more time. He's got to save AEW from the big nasty who's been keeping the title in a fucking briefcase. And then he wins it. And then he loses it in 4 months being screwed by Taz's kid. He doesn't seem to really care that much. He's just kind of like, you know what? Me and my friend Swerve are going to get some revenge on you guys and beat you up with some pipes and chains. No, you're the champion and you lost it. If this was a sport, you'd be screwed. You'd be wanting the rematch. You'd be why does he just all of a sudden just like, again, it's just, I've missed an episode of where he's upset about that. Like if someone in 90210, if Brandon caught someone sleeping with someone else, wouldn't he be mad and talk about it? Or would we just go to the next and just move away from it and completely forget about it? It's like I'm missing where Hangman is the main character of AEW, or at least we tell ourselves that. It doesn't feel like that because all of a sudden Joe's doing this really lame duck celebration. I will give him credit. He at least is wearing a suit as a world champion, as a champion should. So he looks good. But I feel like something's off with it. I don't like how Hook was the thread that connects the world title. Like, why is
also
really lame.
It goes against Joe's character as well, right? Like
doing it on your
Joe
own.
shouldn't be a chicken shit heel.
Yeah,
he never really has been.
He should kill people.
Joe.
Yeah. I found it odd, and the world title seems to have some ups and downs in 2025 with AEW. Like we've had such highs with that Hangman Mox All In, but then I thought the cage match was pretty weak, and it felt like they were just rushing through it because it started so late. But I don't like the way how we got here, and I thought they could retcon it on Wednesday, and they completely did the opposite, where it's like Hangman's not even that mad that he got screwed out, so maybe you shouldn't even be champion. Because now we got Eddie Kingston being like, hey, Hangman's not that mad, but I guess I am, so I'll fight you. So that's announced. Winter is coming in Wales. Eddie Kingston versus Samoa Joe. Cool. That sounds great, but how we're getting there is so...
Yeah,
nothing.
Eddie's return has been baffling. Now, we've kind of theorized, as I've heard other people, is it maybe just checking where he is mentally, like his confidence and that kind of thing, and not wanting to throw him right into the deep end immediately on return.
Right.
But this Hook Eddie friendship kind of just felt a little forced, and then it was buried on Collision, which isn't as watched as Dynamite. If you're trying to build up Eddie for a Winter is Coming title match, he should have been on Dynamite. He should have been on the flagship, cutting promos and actually making that Hook relationship feel like it hurts him more. They've been mates for 3 weeks. It feels like Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe being best friends for 3 weeks before the turn. Like, I wouldn't be too upset. Like,
right.
Oh, this guy I just made friends at the pub last week turns out to be a dick. I'll get over it. And again, it's his friendship with Hook leading to him challenging for the world title. It feels unearned, this story. And Eddie is someone who I think they missed the boat with a few years ago. I think Eddie could have, and it could be a Mick Foley, like 3-week reign. But I think Eddie was so hot a few years ago. People loved his story. People loved his promos. And having Eddie Kingston win the title at Grand Slam in New York would have been awesome. And it could have gone right back to the heel on the next TV special or pay-per-view or something like that. Instead, they gave him his moment with the ROH Championship and the New Japan Strong Championship and these, in a way, sort of fake titles, if you know what I mean, where he's playing them up like it's the world title. But us as fans, it's like, you're the ROH champion.
Yeah.
You're New Japan's 6th title or whatever it is. And now in 2025, I think they ballsed up his return. Whereas he should have come back just smelling blood. And like, I've come with the biggest chip on his shoulder ever, going after Death Riders, going after the Ops, and now wanting this world title. It feels out of nowhere. And I think the whole booking of the world title has been one of the least interesting thing in AEW the past couple months.
Like we're lucky we have all just like the reason to be interested in all these matchups that they're throwing at us weekly is the tournament is the gimmick there. Like,
C2.
It's the gimmick of like the winner and this. It's the excuse to be interested in these awesome matches that we're getting. Whereas the world title it felt like this since that cage match has dropped. This 1 week of TV, I'm like, oh, I'm so 180 on my interest level of where this was. And like they had a hard time booking. It seems to be hard to book babyface champions. Okay, we get that. The chase is way more interesting. It's way more juicy. That's a fact. But this was just really, I don't know. If again, I'm comparing it to other things you watch. You watch a TV show. We were talking about Stranger Things. You know, when they do a storyline thing in any TV show, Breaking Bad, whatever, and they go off on this one thing, you're like, wait, what? Why am I watching 11 hanging out with all these kids on the rooftops? I'd rather watch them solve the problem of the main story arc. Why am I going off kilter here? I don't actually care about that. And that's kind of what it feels like. Sorry, I didn't really care about Hook and the Ops and that drama. I cared about Samoa Joe and Hangman, and now it doesn't feel like any of that actually matters. The fact that Hangman just didn't look mad or didn't start the show is really...
I don't know about that. He came out with a fucking chain wanting to kill them.
It started with Swerve coming out, and then it cuts to Hangman just chilling in the parking lot. And then like 10 minutes go by, and then they started coming out. It's like, man, start the show and be like, I am AEW. I'm the heart and soul. And I got screwed by Hook. I don't know. I felt it's a little off. There's a lot of other again, I love this episode of Dynamite, but you said that was probably the one spot that was kind of weird, where it was like, oh, what's going on with this title? I like the fact Samoa Joe is champion. Fucking love Samoa Joe. The days of Poncho Joe in the past. He's the fucking man. He's got, Twisted Metal. He's Samoa Joe. We got CM Punk as WWE World Champion, and we got Samoa Joe as AEW World Champion. That's fucking sick. It's awesome. It's really cool. It's just how we kind of got to that situation and the match itself, and then this promo, I'm like, oh, kind of feels like that's not Samoa Joe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's sick. That's awesome that they're both champs, but
like part of me would have been even like just go with Hobbs, like a Hobbs surprise win and a short reign as a champion. At least it kind of establishes someone new, and Hobbs is someone like that. That match with Hangman the other week was fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
Like at least it feels fresh, I guess. And I don't know. It's not working for me right
Again,
now.
if you were to say, hey, you're going to anyone who's in Wales or traveling in for this Winter is Coming Collision, I think they've separated it now. So there's a Dynamite that's in like the US, and then there's like a Winter is Coming Collision, and that's when that match is happening. Now, look, you got tickets or you're thinking of going. Yeah, on paper, you got Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe. Low key, a bit of an AEW dream match situation. It's just how we kind of got here is like, it's just a little deflated. So I'm sure it'll be fun, and I'm gonna have expectations, but just kind of a little weird. But we have the C2. There's a lot of actual good wrestling going on as well with this. Like Winter is Coming is in a few weeks, and then we have like some of these Hammerstein shows as well towards the end of the year, and it's gonna get crazy. Obviously, holidays and people get busy and stuff, but the pay-per-view is World's End, right?
Yeah,
and just weeks out, where would you expect or think where we're going? We know we're getting that tournament kind of bracket happen in real time, right? We get the Blue League winner and the Gold League stuff, and then the winners face the winners, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Are we going Swerve Joe for that?
I guess so. Hangman's just like, yeah, you can take it. You got this.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, we've seen the 3-way. I wouldn't go for a 3-way.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do a rematch with Eddie Kingston. I can't necessarily see that being the thing.
No.
So yeah, I'm not really sure.
And then it's just Shibata running around being a heel. Just doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like running around without a brain in his head. Being a bad guy for no reason. Shibata, come on. You're better than that. They need to defend the trios champion. First ever, was it double world champion? Because he's technically a trios champ, Samoa Joe, and now a world champion.
Yeah.
It's too many titles. But yeah, I guess Swerve Joe, main event of World's End. That makes sense. I imagine Okada is in the finals of this. I imagine it's Okada Takeshita. But
yeah, I'm still unsure because I don't know if they'd want to do that so close to Wrestle Kingdom. Because I don't think either of that. I mean, obviously, both these guys are going to have to take losses in this tournament. Okada already has. I don't know if you do that so close to Wrestle Kingdom. And also, bear in mind, the final is unadvertised. Like, you find out on the day because the semifinals are on World's End as well. So, I'm not sure. I could see that match happening. Like, I could see them doing a longer burn with this and it being in the new year.
Like, would you do... You have a few of those tournament matches in there, and like we've said, some of the matches and some of these wrestlers, this tournament's pretty stacked, and you got some great names. But we also have the women's tag titles coming into play and stuff. So I don't know. There's a lot of fun shows coming up. I hope we get some great matches. I'm sure we're gonna get some awesome wrestling for it. But as long as we get to Okada Takeshita, which damn it, we thought we were getting in Toronto, we thought we were getting at Full Gear. They're gonna just keep stretching this out till. Revolution, All In. Don't give us that match until it's the biggest stage possible, maybe is what they want. But I don't know. It's probably happening at this show. We'll see.
Anything else from AEW? Did you catch any of Thanksgiving Collision?
I did, yeah. I watched, what was it? Pac and Speedball. Pac and Speedball. I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That was really like Speedball going crazy with some of those kicks, and Pac obviously pretty impressive. He looks like Pac was always jacked, but he looks even more jacked. Maybe it's that tights he's wearing now or the singlet or whatever. But I thought that was great. Obviously, Roddy Takeshita, those Blue Thunder bombs and the backbreakers.
I was a little disappointed with that match. I think they just wanted to give Takeshita a real dominant win to kick things off. However, I didn't quite get the Roddy Takeshita match I was seeing in my head.
Like, for me, it's going to so many of those old school Roddy Ring of Honor matches. I remember I'll always bring up where Roddy and Nakamura brawled into my lap one time at the Ted Reeves, and they were so hard-hitting matches back in the day. And Roddy, he still can go, don't get me wrong, but I kind of felt the same way. It didn't get up to maybe the expectations I had in my head, but I still love two of the best hoopers going, Takeshita and Roddy, and rematch one day down the line. But Love to see Takeshita. I'm trying to think of what else I watched on the Collision. I thought it was pretty fun with some of the stuff. We had the Garcia, Matt Menard thing, and then Briscoe kind of calling him out and saying like, you're a bitch a little bit. So I guess we're going towards that match down the line. But yeah, I thought it was cool that also I obviously didn't watch it on Thursday, but having the Thanksgiving special, like, I think that's really cool. Having wrestling. I mean, Americans are off, right? I imagine they get Black Friday off too, and then they watch their football, they eat the turkey, they get a little sleepy, and then by the time they wake up, oh look, Takeshi's fighting Roddy on TV. That's cool. So I like that they switched it up like that. But yeah, fun show. I prefer Dynamite though.
I did too. I thought, really, aside from the world title stuff, I thought Dynamite was very strong this week. And this is the most pumped I've been for the Continental Classic. I think this is the third one they've done now.
And again, out the gate, you're like, oh, this was 3 bangers. I mean, plus Collision. So like 6 awesome wrestling. So we're going to get even more this week. So yeah, looking forward to that on Dynamite. And then they haven't announced what's on Collision yet, but I'm sure more of these Continental Classic matchups. So it's the fucking Continental Classic. Catalina wine mixer. Fuck yeah. Excited. Good stuff. Before we go, we got to talk about Bret Hart. Is Bret Hart just too bitter these days? You know, we know he hates Bill Goldberg, but wow, Bret Hart has taken things maybe a bit too far. We have a friend of the show, shout out Johnny Pro Show, who has done a bunch of stuff here in Toronto. He's had Bret Hart do an interview, sit down with a live crowd and like a meet and greet. And then he recently did it in Montreal. And that's where this clip is coming from that's making all these rounds. And Johnny, he's been killing it in the Ontario, just in Canada, of the wrestling coverage and stuff. We know he's come to some of our watch parties. We've seen him. Shout out Toronto Collective as well, the homies downtown. But Johnny's been killing it with these like interviews and stuff. But this clip has made its rounds everywhere. And I have the quote in case you're listening to us and you haven't listened. I'm going to quote the Bret Hart here, who says, Shawn Michaels was so envious and jealous of my position that he finally had to step in with Vince to get it. I would say it to Shawn if he was here right now. I'd like to have Shawn come clean and say, Vince and I were lovers. Bret Hart claiming that Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon were an item, to say the least here. This is not the first time Bret Hart has said this.
No.
Some people on social media found some old Howard Stern clips of Bret Hart maybe 20 plus years ago saying pretty much the same thing all these years ago. But I think this clip going viral just because it's kind of funny that it's Bret Hart saying these things. So, yeah. What do we think of this?
I like, it's funny, but I found the whole thing kind of sad. It's the accumulation of everything, right? It's this whole show. It was shitting on Sheamus. It was, but shitting on Ric Flair's low blow. I'm like, of all the things to get worked up about, it just,
a low blow isn't going on your knees and punching someone. A low blow is kicking someone in the ball. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I found it all a bit too much, and his bitterness is, I don't know. I think it's so easy, and I know we've been here criticizing both WWE and AEW, but it's so easy to just shit on stuff, and it's like it starts to get to the point where like I start to not believe the comments you're making when everything is just so negative. Like that's what I find with, you know, a Jim Cornette might say some things that are valid, but for me, I disregard everything because there's so much just bullshit for the sake of saying it. And I think Bret's always come across very honest, which is entertaining. But the amount of stuff from this interview he was saying, it just makes me go like, come on, Bret. And it's a little eye rolling.
Yeah. Like, okay, the Jim Cornette thing, you know, we know a lot of people who listen to his show and love his stuff and all that stuff. But then he'll say something that you're like, okay, that's stupid. Or he'll say something you're like, oh, that's valid. But then he'll go and say something offensive, racist, misogynistic. And that is why I can't like take anyone's thoughts on Jim Cornette stuff. Cause it's like, sorry, I can't support that guy, because there's like shit he says. And if Bret were to come out and start saying all that stuff, of course I'd be like, nah, I don't care what you're saying. But Bret is coming out and just saying all these weird things. That's like, man, what did Sheamus do to you? Okay, I don't find Sheamus the most exciting in-ring wrestler, but the fact that he's saying, oh, is it something about punches and attacks? And
I mean, of all the wrestlers with shitty punches, like Sheamus isn't one that particularly comes to my mind when I think of. If anything, I find his style is pretty hard hitting, but that's something Bret doesn't like either, does he? He like doesn't think
strong style and all that.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in any of that.
Okay, like we're in this era of, you know, your Booker T's and your Bubba Ray Dudleys and your Gail Kims who they've had a big career in it, but now instead of maybe like, you know, helping the younger generation, or at least they think they are, instead they kind of shit all over it and use that as, you know, rage baiting and stuff. We see it a lot with a lot of the old wrestlers and things like that. Whereas I don't know if Bret's necessarily doing like this is a thing. Bret was, you know, hired to be a guest on a show and do meet and greet, and then is asked questions. And I think this question was asked from someone in the crowd about him and Shawn. And then he went off and said these things among all the other things. But you know, this is going to be picked up or broadcasted.
Yeah.
People are going to hear what you're saying. So I found that kind of odd. Also, I'd say that to Shawn if he was right here. I thought that was the funniest part of it. It's like, would you really?
I do believe that part of it. I think he is someone who would.
I don't know. We're in only a few weeks ago. It seems like the news, or I guess not the news, but the internet is like, hey, look at all these rumors about Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. And then only 2 weeks later, Bret's like, hey, what about Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon? It's like, for fuck's sake. Bret, we love you, but you need to stop talking maybe a little bit. You need to, you know, we all don't like Goldberg. Some of us do, but just stop maybe for a little bit. I don't know. It kind of annoyed me. You know, I love Bret. I'm Canadian.
It starts to ruin your legacy a little bit when you just become old man shouting at cloud, right?
Even if you were to be like, oh, you know, these wrestlers these days, they're not tough. You know, they're playing their video games, or they don't have knives in their bags, whatever Undertaker said. You know, they're not tough. If you gave valid things, but to be like, oh, I always hated Ric Flair's low blow. It's like, dude, what? Yeah, I don't even know who MJF is. Well, you should. You worked with him. Yeah. On TV. So that's just showing me that maybe your memory isn't that great. So maybe if you're remembering things, maybe we shouldn't be listening to what you have to say about certain things. Yeah. And that's coming from someone who was wearing my Bret Hart chalk line shorts as pajamas just this morning. Bret, you got to stop. Yeah. You got to stop, man. Who would have thought Shawn Michaels would be training the future wrestling superstars of tomorrow, and Bret Hart would own a bar in Calgary? We wouldn't expect that, but that's the way the world worked out. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of odd. Of course, I chuckled at the Shawn Vince stuff, but it's all the other stuff that I'm like, man, what are you doing? Yeah. Why are you doing that?
No, 100%.
It was a week of wrestlers on podcasts where clips of things were passed around, including Becky Lynch on Bert Kreischer, who, man, of all podcasts, Becky, to explain this story, she couldn't even get out what she was saying without this guy making a untimely, inappropriate comment while she's kind of saying something serious and fucked up. If you've watched the clip, Becky Lynch with Seth Rollins is talking about how when she came onto the main roster, there were some people that people warned her about, including watch out for the boys. And some people, including someone she claims, without naming names, as she put, use their power and would maybe blacklist people, especially female talent, according to Becky, if they didn't or did sleep with them. And of course, the internet wrestling community taking this not just with a pinch of salt, but becoming detectives all of a sudden of who is she talking about? As wrestling fans are, I'm sure, are like coming up with their own ideas. But it was Bert who interrupts her being like, oh, you're talking about Cody Rhodes? That was just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
She's saying something kind of fucked up, dude. And Seth was just laughing. Like, yeah. It's wrestling. They're just so desensitized to this stuff that I don't know. But
yeah.
What do we take out of this?
Well, I hope management at WWE have contacted her since this and
be like, can we talk about this?
To get more information. Like, it's a pretty huge thing to drop, and especially, you know, with the sort of laughing that was going on as well, just very odd. Now, I don't think it's something we should necessarily be speculating on air, like who's
absolutely
who she's talking about, but whether this person still works there or not, like it's something that should at least internally be investigated.
Like, imagine an AEW wrestler said this on a podcast about something happening at AEW. People would lose their minds. They'd be going off, name this person. And people are saying, Becky, you know, if you're going to say this, maybe you should have named someone. Maybe she didn't want to, obviously.
Well, I think as well on a podcast, like it opens yourself up to a lot, right? And Bert Kreischer, as we saw with the CM Punk interview with Colt, like he could be sued as well for naming someone. Like there's definitely like issues, but the problem on the flip side is you do have people online speculating and other people's names can get dragged through the mud if it's not. Do you remember when Baby Reindeer came out and a lot of people were speculating on who the comedian was that raped the main, what was his name? Richard, I think, raped the main guy in Baby Reindeer. And he had to come out and say, no, it wasn't this person. It wasn't these people, because so many people were, you know, online attacking these and all of that. So there is a danger with making comments like this publicly and not naming as well for people who are completely innocent being dragged through the mud.
Absolutely. I mean, like, yeah, if this is wrestling and we know stuff of stories and stuff that we don't know, but like we've heard of things like this, like, you know, people having power and abusing the power. And she didn't kind of make it sound like this was a main roster male talent, meaning someone who's on TV. Now, this is talking 10 years ago. What we could speculate.
Yeah, you just, I mean, she got called up, what, 2016, 2015, something like that.
10 years ago, 9 years ago. So, like, yeah, of course, people are going to be looking up and down the roster list. Okay, who's got stuff and dirt on them and this and that. And yeah, it's okay. What she's saying is maybe she's like, you know, I'm saying this so that people are aware that this kind of dirty shit happens. And it does, and it's wrong, and it's fucked up. Okay, was this 9 years ago? Does this kind of stuff still happen? She could maybe specify with, I'm not mad at her for saying something that is clearly something she dealt with and other people have dealt with. I just think people may be like, hey, you kind of open this can of worms and then everyone's kind of freaking out over it a little bit. But yeah, it's not like wrestling fans were necessarily shocked at hearing this stuff. I mean, look at the stuff Vince McMahon, let alone allegations, Brock Lesnar, who just wrestled last night. Yeah. So, like, times change. Maybe things don't necessarily change either. I'm not sure. But I don't know. Knowing us wrestling fans, a lot of people are talking about this week. They're like, anything. It's like, oh, who is she talking about? Is it this person? Is this like, oh, no. What is this started? Is this going to open up something? Is this going to open up more conversation for better or for worse? We shall see. But yeah. We ain't making allegations on this show. But thank you for listening to this show. If you made it this far, I appreciate everyone out there. We are Poisonrana. Visit us on Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is that you use. Give us a follow and check out all the other content that we have. We have a Patreon full of many other podcasts. We just did our Fall Brawl 93 War Games review, our GoldenEye review, and so much more. $5 to become a friend on the Patreon. And is there anything else?
I think that's it.
That is it. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back Tuesday to talk about the Go Home for Deadline, and then we'll be live next Sunday here at 2 to talk all about Deadline on the post YouTube. So appreciate everyone out there in the Facebook group, in the Patreon. can't do it without you. That is it. That is all. Take care. Goodbye, and be safe.
Ahoy!